The guy just crushed a level 5 monster with nothing but his teeth. This catches one of humanity's top fighters off guard, because the beast he exterminated didn't go down in one hit. Instead, its neck was ripped apart and music it bled out. Known worldwide as humanity's ultimate weapon, he's trained for 60 years but has never witnessed a power user like this. You gotta grasp it. Monsters have formidable healing skills in the yellow music sand. Unless you chop off their heads, they're pretty much unbeatable. To top it off, the dude in front of him is just a level 1 power user. Plus, in this realm, the criteria for awakening as a power user are incredibly rigid. Only when a monster's blood seeps into a human can they have a slim chance of obtaining monster abilities, and their power level reflects the monster's level. Therefore, power user levels are fixed and can't evolve. Before I met a level 1 monster and awoke my power, I was an unemployed graduate living off my parents due to panic disorder. I bombed the civil service exam for 5 straight music years. Yet, my tiny mom supported me endlessly. She even visited a fortune teller who claimed my exam failures stemmed not from panic disorder, but because my father passed away on the mountain we loved to visit together. Music. His spirit was blocking my path. Only by going to the mountain to pour wine for him and calm his spirit could I succeed. So, the very next day, I took a boat back to my childhood home in the mountains. Walking through the familiar courtyard gate, I felt like I was seeing my younger self, Music, and my father's odd behavior that fateful day. His contorted face, eyes shaking. His mouth wide open, making Music incomprehensible noises. Standing at the doorway, my panic disorder strikes back. My heart pounds and aches uncontrollably. I can only ease the torment with quick breaths. Music. After regaining a little composure, I pull out a bottle of wine from my backpack. I pour it out in honor of my father. Naturally, I don't believe he's really gone, but my panic disorder did start around that time. Just in case, I choose to pray to the mountain god right here. But just as I start my prayer, yellow sand suddenly swirls around me. A chilling sensation grips me. Is the mountain burning? I hastily grab my backpack and bolt down the mountain, trying to escape before anything bad occurs. After all, safety is paramount. But just as I dash down the slope, the phrase, "safety first," jolts me. I freeze in my tracks. I gaze in the direction of the noise. Through the thick yellow sand, an odd figure materializes. I stare at the shadow in confusion until it finally reveals itself. It's a monster with a disfigured head and a swollen stomach, wielding a bamboo pole. My eyes widen, thinking I must be seeing things. But when I blink again, the monster still stands there, now even closer to me. I sense something's off and try to move. But the next instant, a bamboo pole punctures my abdomen. Excruciating pain brings me to my knees. Music, no way, this is really happening. Am I truly going to die? But thinking about my tiny, sweet mother, I snap back to reality. I can't die yet. There are reasons for me to live. Clenching, Music, my jaw and writing out the pain, I rise again. But the monster suddenly coils around me. Its legs grip my waist like a vice, and it gapes its bloody jaws at my shoulder. Razor-sharp teeth stab through my clothing and into my skin. It's a ripping agony that cuts straight to my core. At this moment, I can almost hear my father's fragmented mumbling from that day. Just 2 simple words, devour it. Yet those words feel like a sinister allure. I instinctively sink my teeth into its neck. In an instant, the creature's throat is shredded apart. Blood erupts like a fountain, alongside the monster's chilling screams. Suddenly, my awareness shifts to a bizarre scene. When my eyes flutter open again, a man and a woman are crouched before me. Moreover, both the monster and the yellow sand have vanished. As confusion settles in, the man in the vibrant shirt steps forward and grabs my hand, eagerly asking what I witnessed. I can only respond honestly. As I was descending the mountain, yellow sand surged, and a monster impaled my stomach. After sharing this, I hurriedly checked my abdomen, only to discover that the clearly visible wound is now completely healed. Ko Dukman and Yoon Ji-won exchanged perplexed glances. The prior monster alert had halted right after it commenced. They had assumed it was a malfunction, never imagining I had taken down a monster. Yet Yoon Ji-won gazes at me with bewilderment because even if humans get stained with monster blood and become ability users, they can't utilize their powers instantly. She's puzzled about how I managed it. But Ko Dukman beside her seems indifferent. He believes since they can't decipher it now, they'll unravel it later. The crucial point is that I survived a monster confrontation, signifying I indeed possess monster abilities. Today just happens to be the new recruit training day. Ko Dukman cheerfully slings his arm around my shoulder, insisting I join him. So, in a state of utter confusion, I'm sent to the Special Public Servant new recruit training site, observing everyone's strange expressions within. I can't quite grasp why I'm here. Just then, the sound of footsteps reverberates from outside the door. A woman in crimson attire with purple hair ascends the platform. She's Ryu Yoon-jae, the commander of S-City and the head of this Special Public Servant training. Spotting someone authoritative has arrived, I swiftly raise my hand, declaring, I believe I'm in the wrong place, but Ryu Yoonjin's response leaves me paralyzed. She asserts, according to the Gangwon Island team's report, from this day on, you are officially a special public servant. For those in the environmental department, confidentiality is paramount, be it family, friends, or anyone else. Not a single detail can leak. Failure to do so breaches national security law and incurs legal repercussions. Just then, an alarm blares. This indicates that a monster has emerged. Our training has barely begun. Director Ryu Yunjin promptly hustles us up the mountain, eager to seize this opportunity for some hands-on training. Upon our arrival, we spot a 10-foot-tall monster pinned against a rock by a sword. I immediately crumble to the ground in terror. The other recruits are also shaken by the sight. However, Ryu Anan suddenly proclaims loudly that practical training is commencing now. Though the beast before us appears colossal, it's the weakest one. Director Ryu Yunjin promptly hustles us up the mountain, eager to seize this opportunity for some hands-on training. Upon our arrival, we spot a 10-foot-tall monster pinned against a rock by a sword. I immediately crumble to the ground in terror. The other recruits are also shaken by the sight. However, Ryu Anan suddenly proclaims loudly that practical training is commencing now. Though the beast before us appears colossal, it's the weakest one. Every time a beast shows up, it brings along this yellow sandstorm. The sand's thickness ranges from 1 to 10 levels. The higher the level, the more lethal the beast. Currently, the sand alert is just at level 1. To calm our nerves, she gestures to Kong Channa next to her and declares, Manager Kong Channa has already plunged a blade deep into its head. The beast can't move a muscle. She then instructs us to unleash our powers to combat it. Kong Channa glances at me amidst the crowd, looking somewhat puzzled. I can't help but wonder what power I received that let me take down a monster right after I got my abilities. But what she has no clue about is that I think they must be out of their minds. It's absurd to expect me to confront this gigantic creature. Just being in its presence, music triggers my panic disorder. Yet this panic attack feels different. My chest tightens for a moment, then an overwhelming hunger surges within me. Even more bizarre, a colossal black creature silently looms behind me, resting a dark hand on my head. It opens its yellow eyes and utters a single word, devour. Music. Instantly, my saliva starts to drip uncontrollably. My thoughts are consumed by the urge to devour that monster. Suddenly, a hand prods me. I snap back to reality. It's music. Sean Wooen. He's the only level 7 power user among the recruits. His ability is Break. He asks if I'm weeping out of fear, but I have no clue what just went down. Wiping the drool from my chin, I tell him I'm just feeling a bit hungry. This earns me an eye roll from him. Director Ryu Yunjin stands elevated, calling everyone to attention. Before we engage in battle, she has some crucial points to share. She warns us to watch the thick yellow sand around us. That's what monsters expel. The higher the monster's level, the thicker the sand it spits out. In this yellow sand, monsters have incredible recovery powers. While she speaks, she draws a small knife. She slices her palm open, and the wound heals at a staggering speed. This means, as ability users, we too can gain healing powers within the yellow sand. However, whether we are ability users or monsters, serious injuries will still be fatal. Most importantly, we can only unleash our powers on the yellow sand. Once we step out, we are no better than regular folks. But Eden dismisses Director Ryu's explanation as complete nonsense. He slyly bites his lip, letting the yellow sand seep into his body through the cut. An explosive force immediately surges within him. He then dons his gloves and dramatically activates his ability with a finger snap. The iron blade lodged in the monster's head suddenly explodes into pieces. The moment Kong Channa realizes this, she quickly yells a warning. In that instant, the freed beast's pent-up rage erupts entirely. Its fists crash into the ground, using the rubble as a weapon. Noticing this, Kong Channa tries to rush forward to intervene, but Ryu Yunjin halts her, asserting this is a training exercise for the recruits. She can't interfere, but this is pushing them too far. Kong Channa snaps back vehemently, but Ryu Yunjin's face remains stoic. She insists there's no time for us recruits to practice. Music. If we can't handle this kind of beast, we won't survive once we leave this place anyway. At music that moment, the monster's nostrils twitch as if catching a scent. It abruptly spins around, suddenly fixing its gaze on me amid the crowd. I'm perplexed. I can't fathom why this creature is staring me down. But in the blink of an eye, the beast music strikes without a moment's pause. The blade concealed within its body unexpectedly launches out, zeroing in on me among the throng. It drives straight through my left arm. Excruciating pain forces me to grip the injury, and I let out a piercing scream. Yet this creature shows no signs of releasing me. It leaps over the sea of people, landing right in front of me. Just as it reaches out to make its next move, 2 centipedes erupt from the ground, ensnaring music its entire body. It turns out the centipede ability user has made the first move. Another user with the Tiger Claw ability rushes in right after. While the centipedes immobilize the monster, he surges forward with explosive force and delivers a powerful strike to its head. Instantly, half of the monster's head is lopped off. The 2 ability users who attacked first wear triumphant smiles. They believe they vanquished the beast, but in an instant, the monster's exposed half-head begins to wildly absorb yellow sand. Soon, its entire head regenerates. No hint of damage remains. Both ability users stand in utter disbelief. They were aware monsters had healing powers, but they didn't anticipate the regeneration to be so formidable. Just as the two are momentarily caught off guard, the monster tears away the centipedes, music, that are entangled around it. Because the centipedes are linked to the ability user's hands, the monster swings its arm like a weapon, slamming into the female ability user, then yanks her close using the centipede, music, before seizing the man's neck with its grip, lifting him off the ground. It opens its mouth, poised to devour the man. But at that moment, with a sharp snapping sound, the monster's music jaw gets yanked off. Writhing in agony, it can only release the man it was about to consume. Eden, the sole level 7 ability user among the recruits, finally decides to take action. Facing a monster the others are terrified of, he remains utterly unfazed. He leisurely removes his gloves and forcefully twists his palm. The monster's head before him contorts like a skewer, splintered to bits. Eden feels a sense of boredom creep in. He wanted more of a challenge, but this monster's body is too music frail. Observing from the back, Kang Channa seems to catch on after witnessing his ability. She interrogates Eden about whether he damaged her blade to summon the monster, but Eden tells her not to hurl accusations without proof. Kang Channa, however, disregards his words. She seizes Eden's hand, urging him to snap his fingers again to see if her blade shatters. Watching their incessant bickering, Director Ryu leads the applause, sporting a satisfied grin as she commends the recruit's impressive performance. Yet, as she praises, her expression darkens as she realizes, "I've vanished from the crowd." Ryu Yunjane sighs and shakes her head, lamenting how, as an ability user, I ran away in fear from a monster, deeming me entirely unfit. But Kang Channa feels a disturbance. The monster is dead already, yet the yellow sand here hasn't dissipated. Instead, it's getting thicker. Only when she mentions this do others start to grasp the situation. Meanwhile, music, I'm dashing wildly through the forest. Being a special public servant meant to eradicate monsters, music can't fulfill that role. Right now, all I want is to flee this perilous place. But as I run, my breath catches as I spot a colossal gate looming ahead, yellow sand hissing ominously from within. Just when I ponder the reason for a gate in the mountains, a monstrous figure steps through. I duck into the nearby grass, clamping my mouth shut, terrified to make a peep, music cursing my bad luck. Escaping at last, only to bump into yet another monster. I glance out but find it missing. What I never saw coming was that it's lurking just behind me. Meanwhile, troubling news reaches Director Ryu. The alarm remains unresolved and has escalated to a level 3 monster alert. As Yosek delivers the news, Director Ryu is stunned. It's unprecedented for monsters to appear back-to-back in the same area. While she's puzzled, Kang Channa anxiously wants to pinpoint the monster's location. Simultaneously, I'm fleeing from that beast, entering full parkour mode again. Under the looming threat of death, adrenaline fuels my every move, music pushing me to sprint forward. Stopping is not an option, it means death. Tears stream down my face as I scream for help. Suddenly, I trip over a rock and tumble down. That tumble reveals a hiding spot, screaming for someone to rescue me. Just then, my foot collides with a rock. My entire body crashes down. This fall gives me a glimpse of a hiding spot. Regaining my footing, I dart towards the house, diving into a room and gasping for breath. I peek through the door crack to music, check if the monster's on my tail. Sure enough, it trails me, its bone spikes glinting ominously above. This monster seems capable of launching those spikes as attacks, but before I can ponder further, an elderly woman swings the door wide and steps into the courtyard. Despite the towering monster right in front of her, she remains oblivious, puzzled by the unsettling yellow mist rising in broad daylight, obscuring her view. Hiding inside, I witness the scene unfold. The old woman is in peril. I know I must intervene, but as an ability user, obscuring my vision. Concealed in the room, I see it all unfold. The elderly woman is in peril. I need to intervene. But as someone with abilities, I still have no clue what powers I possess. My potential edge might be what Director Ryu mentioned. We ability users can heal in yellow sand but can die from lethal wounds. Is it truly worth risking my life for someone I don't know? Just as I wrestle with this dilemma of self-preservation versus saving her, the woman outside seems to sense a presence before her. She softly queries if it's Liuji's music, mother, and the bone spike monster eerily mimics her voice, uttering Liuji's mother. Hearing the echo of her own words, the woman's fury spikes. She steps forward, eager to unveil the source, but barely takes a step before terror grips her. A music 10-foot terror looms closer. She crashes to the ground, gasping, questioning what it is. Music. The bone spike monster advances, echoing human sounds. Liuji's mother. Shouting about what this creature is. Music. The bone spike monster trudges forward, mimicking human sounds. Liuji's mother. It then directs its hovering bone spikes music at her. With a swift flick, the spikes launch violently. After a blood-spattered onslaught, the old woman opens her eyes, only to see a young man shielding her. Battling through excruciating pain, I ask if she's okay, but the next moment, I crumple music onto her. My left arm has been completely severed by that attack. The sight of blood gushing terrifies even her. With my last ounce of strength, I shove her away, urging her to run. In that instant, I lament. Why did I end up with a level 1 monster ability? This power feels as worthless as my job application. The bone spike monster looms ever closer behind me. The woman's anxious form blurs more with each passing moment. My heart plunges into a chilling silence. I failed to save her, and now my own life hangs in the balance. Just when despair engulfs me, yellow sand flows into my severed arm. As the sand courses through my veins, the monster's ability inside me ignites fully. Venomous fangs sprout from my formerly pristine teeth. I lunge at the monster like a lightning-fast cheetah, biting down with ferocity. Meanwhile, Kong Chena, hunting for the monster's whereabouts deep in the forest, hears the ruckus and rushes here. But the sight that greets her makes her eyes widen. She sees me perched on the monster, ripping into its neck with my teeth. She's utterly taken aback. She's never witnessed anyone battle a monster with bites. But while she's stunned, the monster retaliates fiercely. It seizes my head, lifts me up, and violently slams me against the wall. This blow completely incapacitates me. Instinctively, I chew and swallow a chunk of flesh I tore from the monster. This sight shocks even the monster that has devoured countless humans. Typically, it's monsters devouring people, but now, this man feasts on its flesh. However, in the next moment, the monster realizes something is amiss. It notices that the wound I inflicted isn't healing. Kong Chena, now on the scene, picks up on this too. Yet, after a brief pause, she charges explosively at the monster. She knows this isn't the moment to question why the monster's injury isn't mending. As she leaps over its head, Kong Chena snatches one of the floating bone spikes with her bare hand. The instant her palm makes contact with the spike, its sharp edge slices her skin. This is precisely Kong Chena's intention, using the monster's spike to sustain an injury, thereby triggering her ability. Her power aligns with the metal attribute of level 7 ability users. Feeling humiliated, the monster emits a primal roar. It swiftly unleashes a full-force attack, launching all the bone spikes violently toward Kong Chena. But she simply counters with a backhand, sending all the attacking spikes back. Then, with the monster booked for a counter, she springs up with her blade, driving forward. A chilling, gleaming blade arc follows her swift movement, slicing the monster in two from head to tail. Blood splatters across her face, her gaze is frigid. After the creature perishes, the surrounding yellow sand evaporates. Kong Chena swiftly helps the terrified woman to her feet. Upon regaining consciousness, the woman appears to have forgotten everything, asking what transpired. Kong Chena reassures her that it was merely a wild boar, but the woman remains oblivious. She continues lamenting how wild boars are descending the mountain to ravage crops. After the yellow sand dissipates, ordinary people's recollections of monsters are wiped clean. Kong Chena assures the woman that they, as public servants, will take care of the rest. She instructs her to head back and get some rest. After witnessing the elderly woman close her door, she turns on her heels, her gaze turning icy. Approaching me, she scrutinizes my every feature, pondering the identity of this newcomer. She's never witnessed such miraculous recovery. The severed arm has regenerated in mere moments. She doesn't get it. Am I truly just a level 1 power user? After the chaos, I got word to report to the environmental department tomorrow. Music. But those brutal monster scenes haunt my thoughts. An unshakable shock lingers in my chest. Lying in bed, I contemplate, no matter my desperation for a job, I will never become a special public servant. With that notion in mind, I pull up the blanket and drift into a deep sleep. Soon, music in that deep slumber, I find myself in a nightmare. In the dream, I'm in a realm swarming with monsters. The sounds of battle, screams, and roars swell and recede. They surge music forward like they're being chased out of this place by some unseen force. Just then, voices shouting, "Come back," jolt me back to reality. I wake up drenched in sweat. This isn't the first time I've encountered this nightmare. Ever since finishing recruit training, this scene keeps playing in my mind. Glancing at the light peeking through the window, I assume morning has arrived. But when I lift the window and look outside, I see it's Chong Mountain ablaze. Inside the mountain, a magma monster materializes. At the same moment, a water ability user soars into the air, summoning torrential rain. The seemingly innocent droplets make the magma monster squirm in agony. Then, another ice user, who's been lying in wait, harnesses the falling droplets to create ice, blasting it at the creature. Together, they manage to completely encase the magma monster in ice within just a few breaths. The female ability user asks the team leader in confusion, "Aren't monsters supposed to be nocturnal?" But the team leader orders her to first handle the mountain fire damage. He'll take care of the magma monster himself. With that, he forms an ice scythe blade. As he grips the scythe, an icy aura radiates outward. The team leader charges toward the frozen beast. Just then, dark energy sweeps music through the ice, landing squarely on the monster's head. A pair of green eyes within its mind issue a compelling command, "Bring him here." In that moment, the magma monster shatters the ice and music, turns its focus on the human preparing to fight, its coiled fist cracking menacingly. One punch explodes like thunder, blasting the human back 100 meters, sending him crashing into a tree before finally coming to rest. This full-force strike not only possesses immense power but also radiates scorching heat. The female ability user, now fleeing, yells worriedly, "Team leader." But the force from the music, dark energy, enlarges the magma monster's might far beyond that. It even triggers the large sack on its back, which had been dormant for years, to erupt with waves of molten lava. Both users clearly sense this monster growing stronger by the second. Meanwhile, at S-City headquarters, every piece of equipment and machine begins blaring red alerts. Monsters are attacking 20 mountains nationwide tonight simultaneously. Their patterns of appearance have shifted entirely, and this change began with a recruit training a week ago. But before Director Ryu can ponder further, her subordinate reports an emergency call from the F-City Response Center. She swiftly changes channels to take the call. On the line is F-City Director Baeyong Sik, delivering grave news. The gate that opened near Jimjong Mountain in F-City hasn't shut for 3 days. Music, no matter how many they take down, those creatures just keep coming out from the gate. The team from Jimjong Mountain is completely wiped out. Director Ryu, with cold sweat trickling down her face, urgently asks if he has any idea why the gate still stands. On site, the monsters are definitely murmuring music. They're saying, "Bring him here." According to their F-City Monster Translator ability user, Ryu Yoonjin shouts, "Bring who here?" However, Baeyong admits he has no clue. It feels as though they're searching for someone. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Director Ryu swiftly makes another call. A phone rings inside a helicopter. A blue-haired man picks up. Ryu Yoonjin informs him that things are bad at Jumjong Mountain in F-City. She hopes he can rush to assist them, but the blue-haired man simply replies that he's already en route and hangs up, leaping from the aircraft like a blue meteor streaking through the sky. As he lands on the yellow sand, he takes a deep breath, inhaling the sand. Veins bulge on his temples, and as his ability activates, the entire area shifts around him. Music, allowing him to land safely atop the gate. Below, a female ability user spots his entrance. She's puzzled by his sudden appearance on the gate and warns the blue-haired man about the danger, urging him to come down fast. But just then, a monster battling nearby exploits the opening created by this female user, launching its blade-like leg at her. Fortunately, her sixth sense kicks in, enabling her to dive forward to evade the strike in the nick of time. However, when she glances back, panic washes over her as she realizes she can't avoid the monster's next move. Just at that moment, the blue-haired man tears open a spatial rift with his bare hands. As music, he exerts more power, the rift broadens, creating an opening right behind the monster's head. The blue-haired man reaches into the rift, seizes the monster's head, and yanks with all his strength, pulling it out along with its spine. This sight leaves everyone at Jumjong Mountain in shock music. He hops down from the gate, declaring, "Great job, everyone," and advises them to take a breather. "I've got this." Music. Hearing his idol's praise, team leader Kim Yongun sheds tears of joy. The female ability user beside him leans in, asking who that hero is. Team leader Music Kim Yongun beams with pride, saying, "You new recruits are in for a surprise." He's the pioneer monster ability user who formed the Yellow Sand Special Music Response Team and is currently the strongest there is. Director Jong Ilu flexes his muscles, then places a hand on the ground. A spatial force radiates from his fingers. Next, 10 spatial rifts unfurl from each fingertip. These rifts seem alive, slithering up the mountainside, ultimately bursting forth from the peaks, shooting upwards into the sky. Facing the onslaught of these 10 rifts, Jong Ilu zeroes in on one, which leads straight to Changya Mountain in S-City. At this very moment, the Changya Mountain team leader's efforts against the empowered magma monster yield no results. His female music teammate has already been knocked out. Then he plants his hand on the ground. A spatial force radiates from his fingers, causing 10 spatial rifts to emerge from each fingertip. These rifts appear to be alive, slithering across the ground uphill, ultimately bursting forth from the mountain's summits, launching toward the heavens. Confronted by these 10 spatial rifts, Jong Ilu hastily opts to open one of them, and this rift opens straight to Changya Mountain in S-City. In this instant, dealing with the fortified magma monster, the attacks from the Changya Mountain team leader become ineffective. His female music teammate collapses, knocked out cold, and he's pushing himself to his limits. He yells loudly for Manager Lee to wake up. "Music, they've got to get out of here." But the beast won't let them off easy. It lunges at him with a massive fist. Watching this unfold, the Chung Mountain team leader unleashes his power, summoning an ice music wall, but it shatters instantly from the monster's strike, sending him flying. He skids across the dirt several meters before crashing down. The monster's fist is right behind him. The leader quickly shields his teammate lying beneath. Just when he believes this could be the end, a spatial rift suddenly tears open behind the magma beast. A powerful pull from the rift yanks at the creature. Jong Il-du stands on the other side, seizing the molten monster's head and yanking with force, dragging it clean through the rift's portal, then nonchalantly tossing it aside. But that seemingly effortless throw leaves the beast clearly wounded. Then he opens his palm, thrusts it forward, and sweeps to the right. A colossal spatial force erupts from those 10 rifts. This is one of his evolved powers, spatial transfer. In a heartbeat, all the beasts attacking 20 mountains across the country are unceremoniously relocated. Music. Staff at S-City headquarters report to Ryu Un in that, except for F-City, the yellow sand in other areas vanishes in an instant. Upon hearing this, Ryu Unjan exhales a long breath of relief. She realizes this means Director Jong has entered the fray. Jong Il-do scans the monsters that just reappeared. As he recognizes that every single beast is accounted for, his demeanor shifts dramatically. The spatial energy he emits radiates a fierce purple light. Let's get this started then. With those words, the monsters present charge at him, encircling him, music in unison. But Jong Il-do coolly lifts one finger and swipes. Space instantly cleaves open with a black rift. Then he spins his finger around his form. The spatial rift he carves, glowing purple, music, like a razor-sharp blade, pierces the monsters' heads. In the next moment, their heads explode altogether. The gruesome sight leaves the Junjong Mountain team members stunned and speechless. In their entire lives, they've never witnessed such terrifying might. Jong Il-do intentionally spares the magma monster. After confirming it's still alive, he summons the translator ability user to interpret. He grips the creature's head. Why have you monsters been surfacing so often over the last week? The translator conveys the message. It echoes the same phrase, bring him here. Jong Il-do presses on, asking who this person is, but this time the creature clearly can't deliver a satisfying response. The translator ability user shrugs, disabling his ability, saying, it's either repeating bring him here, or just mimicking what we say. Jong Il-do realizes persisting won't yield any results. So, he casually finishes off the magma monster, and after vanquishing all foes, the gate ahead looms as the greatest threat. Jong Il-do places his palm on the earth like before. A stream of purple spatial energy wells up from his palm. The riff music he conjures this time is far from small. Instead, it's enormous, swallowing the entire colossal gate whole. The next instant, the gate is entirely consumed, leaving only a scattering of spatial cracks across the ground that are yet to fade. This immense power brings relief to the team members, knowing such a powerful being stands with humanity rather than the fiends. They heard he's over 50 years old, yet he looks nothing like it. Could it be his spatial skills that keep him youthful? After dismissing the alert, Jung Il-do heads back to the city headquarters building. Since Ryun Jun, the commander of the headquarters, wasn't present, she's curious how they managed the gate situation. Jong Il-do adjusts his tie and states he's stashed it in his dark space for now. Dropping into his chair, he moans about his exhaustion. But Director Ryu retorts that he's making a big deal out of nothing. Doesn't he usually manage these situations alone? With that, she operates the remote panel to illuminate the giant screen. She claims this is the intel he requires. She's puzzled as to why he suddenly desires to examine the new recruit's music details. Jong Il-do replies that he needs to determine exactly whom the monsters are on the hunt for and what music their motive is. This is a critical issue for the entire organization. Meanwhile, countless monsters converge in one area. They raise their heads as if awaiting a particular leader to awaken. And music, that leader is the colossal woman resting before them. These monsters seem minuscule compared to her size. As a thunderous roar reverberates, the woman abruptly opens her eyes, exposing a blazing pair of green orbs. Her first command upon waking is to summon him here. In the meantime, despite insisting, I won't be a special public servant, I reach music, the entrance of Manhwa Island Yellow Sand Response Center. Because witnessing my mother's joyous tears upon discovering music I became a public servant makes it impossible to burst her bubble. Upon arriving at the registration desk to check in, I'm greeted by team leader Kodakman, whom I encountered a few days back. With his intoxicated appearance, it's evident he hasn't recovered yet. However, upon recognizing it's me reporting as the new recruit, he presses his forehead, displaying a grimace and instructing me to follow him. Then he mutters, out of everyone, why am I stuck with their team? They don't need a coward. But at this instance, another new recruit shows up, causing him to beam with a big grin. This newcomer is none other than Eden, a level 7 ability user. Right now, he's darkly interrogating Kodakman about why he wasn't placed in city headquarters, but instead to this forsaken Manhwa Island. He's coldly probing Kodakman about the reason he got stuck on this miserable Manhwa Island instead of being chosen for city headquarters. Kodakman jeers at him with a smirk. Music, yeah, a level 7 ability user ending up here? Guess you've got something off about you too, right? With a flick of his wrist, he twists the doorknob and pushes the office door open. Stepping inside, the office looks like any typical workplace, completely unlike what I expected. Before Kodakman even opened the door, I imagined this place would be cutthroat. Turns out I was just letting my imagination run wild. Then Kodakman starts introducing the team one by one. First up, music. It's Kodakman himself, the leader of the Ganga Island team, who's 41 this year. The lady with the short hair sipping coffee is Yoonji Won, age 36. Then there's Kim Yubak, who's 51. And the edgy young guy with colorful hair is Nameo Seo, age 25. After he wraps up the introductions, Kodakman waves his hand, telling us to sort out the work ourselves. But this is my first job ever, and honestly, I have no clue what to do. A wave of anxiety crashes over me. I glance at Eden, figuring he's in the same boat since it's also his first day. Since we started at the same time, I think it would be smart to try and get along with him. I reach out my hand for a handshake, but when Eden sees it, he just hurls some curses at me. I'm totally taken aback. I wasn't ready for him to be a loose cannon. He's sprawled on his desk, mumbling endlessly about how someone as elite as him ended up on Ganga Island. I can't help but wonder if he's lost it. Is there something off about the Ganga Island team? With that thought, I turn to Yosak beside me to ask what the Ganga Island team is like. Upon hearing my question, he pulls off his headphones and gives me a detailed rundown. First things first, the Yellow Sands Special Response Team has 13 headquarters scattered nationwide. Each headquarters has teams that handle various mountain regions. Level 7 and above ability users with powerful monster abilities are mostly stationed at headquarters for major missions. Islands with lower populations, like our Manhwa Island, only face weaker monsters, meaning they send in users with lower tier abilities or those who are a bit off. Finally, it clicks why Eden's always complaining. But what kind of flaws do the folks here have? Before I can ponder that, Yosak continues. There are also some strong users who choose to come here voluntarily. I curiously ask who they are. Just then, a loud door swings open, breaking our chat. Kangchana walks in, hair soaked and dripping. That's definitely Kangjana. I eye her in mild confusion. She looks back at me, equally surprised. Clearly, she didn't expect the new recruit on their team to be someone as weird as me. Why weird? Because when the Bone Spike monster was defeated, I regained consciousness with no memory at all. And I'm an ability user, not just any ordinary Joe. Only regular folks forget things when the yellow sand fades. So, it's no wonder Kangana's taken aback. Yosak's mention of a life allowance makes my jaw hit the floor. We're actually getting a life allowance in the future. Does that mean we have to risk our necks fighting monsters? But Yosak holds up 5 fingers and says the life allowance amounts to 5 times the salary. Hearing that, my earlier dread vanishes, replaced by thrill. 5 times? Does that mean an annual salary over 100 million? With that, Yosak tells me to quit bothering him and just hang around until a monster alert goes off. I frown, thinking I didn't even ask that many questions. Time zooms by, and before I know it, it's quitting time. At Yoon Ji-won's suggestion, everyone heads out for a group dinner as new colleagues arrive. Meanwhile, back in the secret lab at S-City headquarters, Ryu Yin is reporting to Jang Il-du that the pattern of monster appearances has stabilized. Jang Il-lu asks if the cause of the sudden chaos has been uncovered. Ryuin shakes her head, wondering if this might be a sign that something big is on the horizon. Jang Il-lu fixes his gaze on the feathered figure, limbs confined in the container, pondering silently before stating they can't be sure just yet. He instructs Ryu Eunjian to relay the directive. Concerning that day, the team leaders are to remain tight-lipped. Otherwise, if ordinary ability users within the organization catch wind of this, it could spiral into utter chaos. The scene transitions to the Manhwa Island team during their dinner gathering. Kodakman bluntly announces that day is approaching. The seer has predicted that within a year, monsters will descend from the heavens. After declaring this, he makes a gesture to silence everyone and adds, "This is top secret, don't spill the beans." Yet, the team members who hear this seem unfazed. This feels utterly ridiculous. Monsters falling from the sky, wouldn't that lead to everyone's doom? Still, these individuals appear completely indifferent. Just then, an alert for monsters blares. The once cheerful atmosphere shatters instantly. Kangchana immediately rises, saying she'll take charge of the situation. Eden, standing nearby, removes his apron, eager to join her, but Kangchana glances at him and declines, specifically asking me to accompany her instead. In the car, I feel an overwhelming sense of dread due to what the team leader said about that day. Kangchana notices and reassures me not to stress too much about the prophecy. She claims the higher-ups have already set up backup plans. After all, Music Headquarters is packed with formidable ability users. We just need to tackle the monsters that surface on Gangwon Music Island. She also mentions that I'm her first gluttony ability user. For the first time ever, receiving praise makes me blush. Here I am, a gluttony monster ability user. Could the initial monster I encountered have been a gluttony monster? Pondering this, I ask Hang Chan what exactly the gluttony ability entails. She smirks slightly and responds, "As the name implies, it's the power to consume monsters." Before long, we locate the monster's whereabouts. This particular creature is quite low level. In just a few strikes, Kangchana pins it against a tree using her iron sword. Excitedly, Kangchana calls me over, indicating music the monster's tentacle and urging me to eat it. I point at the monster in disbelief, questioning if she's serious. She gestures dismissively and states, "The portions of a monster I consume regenerate not at all. Plus, while I'm eating them, I can also acquire their abilities," so she firmly convinces me to give it a shot. Grasping the monster's tentacle, my stomach churns intensely. I attempt to envision it as an octopus and force myself to eat it. But the nausea within me is an impossible barrier. Kangchana eagerly encourages me from the sidelines, continually coaxing me to take a bite despite my struggle to comply. Staring at this decayed tentacle makes me want to vomit. This psychological agony haunts me even the following day at work. I endure ridicule from Eden, who laughs that I puke the moment I show up. How utterly pitiful. He angrily grumbles that because of me, he hasn't been part of a single field operation yet. Manager Kang takes me along on missions solely for training. This drives the passionate Eden up the wall. Watching his furious exit, I feel the urge to retort, but on reflection, he's got a point. I need to get my act together. However, when the monster alert goes off again, Kang Chena immediately stands up, calling for me to join her, only to find the desk where I should be empty. At that instant, I'm hiding in music, the bathroom. Though I vowed to get it together, it seems I'm still hiding in the bathroom. Even after promising to pull myself together, just the thought of devouring a monster while wide awake makes me feel sick and lightheaded. Music, I feel like hurling. Stumbling out of the bathroom, I convince myself that it's okay to take a break today and hit it harder tomorrow. Music, but I'm startled by Manager Kang appearing out of nowhere. She asks if I just hid in there. I clutch my stomach, frantically making excuses, claiming I got food poisoning after biting the monster yesterday, saying my stomach is just a mess. Right as I'm about to keep spinning my web of lies, Kang Chena cuts in music and says, I might not be cut out for this role. Some folks, even with monster powers, don't have to become special public servants. They only need to sign a secrecy agreement and live under constant watch for forever. And weaklings, music like me, won't last long and worse, could lead to civilian casualties. At last, she bluntly tells me that if I can't handle this music gig, I should just bail. We're already short on hands. Don't just waste space doing nothing. The scene shifts to me by a lakeshore. After hearing Kang Chena's words, I decide to quit. Getting killed by monsters is way worse than being monitored for eternity. With that, I call my mom, ready to break the news about my resignation. I mean, tons of monsters will pop up in a year. Work doesn't mean much. But when she picks up, my mother says she's sightseeing at Inwang Mountain with a friend and gripes about the yellow sand covering everything. Then the call drops. I distinctly heard the words yellow music sand. My heart drops cold. Panicking, I dash towards Inwang Mountain. At this moment, Inwang Mountain has been devastated by this level 5 beast. Only a newly recruited member and the team leader, who has the clone monster ability, are left standing. While he summons his clones, he urges the new music recruit to hurry and call for backup from base. Meanwhile, I hop in a taxi, speeding toward Inwang Mountain. I see the swarm of people being evacuated down the hill, but I can't spot my mother among them. So, I turn to a nearby special music public servant for help, shouting that my mom is still up there and pleading to be let through, but the staff won't budge, claiming wild animals are roaming the mountain and it's super dangerous. Music, hearing that, I decide on the spot to scale the cliff. Reaching the peak, I finally catch a glimpse of my mother amidst the yellow sand. She's a bit surprised I'm not at work and showed up instead. I pull out my phone, saying I tracked her down through her social media. Then she asks why I'm not at work and what I'm doing here looking for her. I bottle up my anxiety and say my work status doesn't matter now. But she just acts like she didn't hear me and starts bragging to her friend about my public servant role, even going on about my future marriage prospects. But just when I'm telling them to hurry and leave because this isn't the time for chit-chat, suddenly, several leaves drop around me, making a whooshing sound. I look up to see that monster perched in the tree. But before I can process anything, the beast leaps down from the tree, targeting my mother below. Out of desperation, I rush down too. The monster leaps down from the tree, aiming straight for my mother underneath. In sheer panic, I bolt towards her. I'm scrambling to hinder the beast's assault, yet I'm not nearly as nimble as the creature. On the steep cliffside, I roll down multiple times. In this flash, I realize it's far too late to avert disaster. The beast's strike is about to hit us. Just as it bares its bloodied fangs, ready to spring at my mom, I scream in despair, wishing for a miracle. Out of nowhere, several blades gleam menacingly. A miracle unfolds. The monster is pierced by those blades and crashes violently to the ground. My mom escapes this calamity. Though relieved, she seems unscathed. I wonder about the source of those blades that struck the monster. Then, my mother's gesture reveals all. She gestures at the quaking creature below us, questioning what that beast is and what the ancient blades hovering above my head signify. Only then do I realize. This is that bone spike monster that nearly ended me last time. A sudden agony shoots through my back. Something's pushing out. Then a bone blade juts out from my skin. As I try to control these bone blades, I realize this is indeed my power. Now it dawns on me what my gluttony ability truly encompasses. It's not just that monsters I bite can't regenerate. I can also devour and inherit their powers. I can wield the bone spike monster's abilities from before. Maybe I've got a real shot at taking down this beast in front of me. And that monster still lies on the ground, weakened. It doesn't seem that formidable. Is this really the creature the Inwang Mountain team struggled against? But before I can ponder further, the mirror on the monster's forehead suddenly blinks. Then, just like me moments earlier, countless bone blades sprout from its back. While I'm still reeling, it charges at me. Unable to evade in time, countless bone blades pierce my body. But more than the pain, I crave to understand how that thing can wield my own ability. As the monster creeps closer, the mirror above its head flickers again. What I see reflected is my own image. In this moment, a thought strikes me. I extend my hand and snap my fingers, and that monster mimics the exact same action. This creature's ability is indeed to imitate the powers of its foes. Even with this knowledge of the opponent's mimicry skills, safeguarding my parents remains my chief concern since they're ordinary humans. Wounds in the yellow sand won't heal by themselves. If the mirror monster starts attacking indiscriminately with its bone blades, my life will be haunted by regret. I quickly place myself in front of my mother, urging her to find a safe spot. She queries, "What about me?" I smirk and respond, "Aren't I a protector of civilians?" I lift my shirt, assuring her I won't get hurt. I insist she hides without fear. Otherwise, with her nearby, my situation risks turning dire. After this, I lunge toward the encroaching mirror monster, clutching its body tightly, continuing my charge until we both tumble off the cliff together. Because I know all too well that just having my mother hide isn't sufficient. Only by taking the monster far away from them can they be secure. This way, even if I fall in battle, they'll have a glimmer of hope for survival. But how could a mother not feel devastation? She screams my name, desperately trying to deter me. But how could a mother not feel devastation? She screams my name, desperately trying to deter me, but time has already slipped away. The only sounds breaking the silence are the frightened chirps of birds. Meanwhile, the new recruit from Inang Mountain team finally gets back on his feet. Music. Their visitors are none other than the Wonggil and Zhonglun brothers, hailing from S City. Zhonglun questions him on why he failed to catch the monster. The new recruit, shaking, replies, "That thing is horrifying, except for him." The whole Inang Mountain team has been eradicated. Wonggil, scratching his chin in confusion, wonders how a level 5 monster could annihilate a team with a level 7 ability user. What kind of power does that monster possess? It's a mirror. It can imitate anyone's ability. With the intel they sought in hand, Wonggil and Zhonglun follow the new recruit's lead to the site where the Inang Mountain team was obliterated. However, what they encounter leaves them utterly stunned. Countless mirror monsters blanket the entire hillside. Music. Zhang-un, with his simple-mindedness, struggles to grasp how so many identical monsters could exist in one place. But Wonggil is different, compensating for his brother's naivety. The Inang Mountain team's leader had the ability of self-replication. That mirror monster must have copied him. As long as they can eliminate the original, the clones should vanish as well. Music. But while Wonggil ponders which one is the original, his impulsive brother has already rushed in, yelling, "Who cares? Just take them down." Watching his reckless sibling, Wonggil suddenly feels irritation. Music, as he realizes the original form of these mirror monsters isn't in sight. Unbeknownst to him, the monster's true form is presently engaged in combat with me. The mirror monster opens its maw wide, steadily consuming yellow sand. Music. In mere seconds, all its prior wounds have completely disappeared. Witnessing its horrifying regeneration, I think I can't allow it to recover in peace any longer. With that thought, I unleash all my bone blades at the beast. But unexpectedly, I find myself exceptionally bad at hitting. Not a single shot lands. In contrast, Music, the mirror monster, deftly maneuvers just one bone blade. That singular strike flawlessly punctures my arm. This enormous disparity ignites my rage. Music. I hurl bone blades at it once more. I refuse to believe I can't hit at least once. Luckily, this time, with numbers on my side, I make a successful hit. Yet that one blade barely injures the mirror monster. In fact, Music, the wound mends in an instant. I inwardly curse. Though we share the same ability, our healing speeds are worlds apart. But despite this unfair fight and the huge gap in power, Music, I still hold the conviction that I'll emerge victorious in the end. Kong Shenna once told me I have the strongest recovery among the human team. Sure, I may still lag behind monsters a bit, but what I do share in common with them is this. As long as my head isn't severed, I won't perish. As long as I'm unafraid to confront monsters, I still have a chance. Plus, I possess one last secret weapon. At this instant, the monster's upward movement presents me with a chance. I grip one bone blade tightly with my left hand. Using my right hand, I unleash all the remaining bone blades at the monster. Although, predictably, not a single one connects. But the next blade will be a lethal blow. Music. Clutching the last bone blade with both hands, I won't perish. As long as I'm unafraid to confront monsters, I still have a chance. Plus, I possess one last secret weapon. At this instant, the monster's upward movement presents me with a chance. I grip one bone blade tightly with my left hand. Using my right hand, I unleash all the remaining bone blades at the monster. Although, predictably, not a single one connects. But the next blade will be a lethal blow. Gripping the last bone blade with both hands, I jump down, lunging ruthlessly toward the beast's head, thinking, if I can't shoot it, I'll pierce it head-on. Yet, just as I aim for that decisive blow, the mirror monster deflects it with its jaws. At the same moment, it seizes my neck with one hand, hoisting me into the air. Then it suddenly plummets from the cliff. Using me as its shield, it crashes me into the ground. The tremendous force paired with its grip cuts off my breath. I clench my Music lips, fighting to use my gluttony ability. But right now, I can't even twitch, let alone channel gluttony to bite it. At this instant, the mirror above the monster flickers once more. It actually bites into my neck first. Music. The searing pain makes me scream out. However, I seize the chance to draw my bone blade from my back, stabbing it into the monster's neck. Once I'm upright, I'm confused why it chose to bite me instead. It could have just crushed my neck and ended me. But before I delve too deep into thought, I feel lightheaded, my world spinning. The wound from its bite remains raw, blood still, music flows. I didn't expect it could imitate my gluttony ability. Staring at the spurting blood, I ponder how long someone can last while losing blood. There's no time. I must defeat it before I collapse. Even if I breathe my last, I can't afford to fail in protecting even one person. I clutch the bone blade tightly. Though my body wavers, I charge at the creature without a second thought. The mirror monster is a master of mimicry, its movements almost mirroring mine. Yet there are some things a beast can't replicate. The bone blade the mirror monster wields punctures my flesh as I hurl my blade into the air, making it hover. I lock my arms around the monster's waist, holding it in a tight embrace. I then unleash the bone spike monster's power, directing all the scattered bone blades toward music. Both of us. The sound of blades ripping through flesh resonates loudly in my ears. Even as the monsters inside me are pierced, I don't let go. The critical blow hasn't landed yet until the bone music, blade suspended above, reveals its might. With one strike, it decapitates the beast. Only then do I let go of its body. Music collapse to the ground, breathing heavily. I emerge victorious from this fight. This is also the first time I genuinely take music down a monster. As I slay the mirror beast, its clones begin to vanish. Jong-un observes the monsters slowly disintegrating, bewildered. The clones are all fading away. Did we just defeat the original body? But Wang Gil, my foolish brother, quickly dismisses this notion. The original body was taken down by someone else. But who could that person possibly be? After killing the mirror monster, the gluttony effect on my neck fades. The wounds have all mended. But as I shift my feet, gearing up to find my mother, suddenly, a voice murmurs, "Devour," echoing music in my ears, freezing me in place. A memory I don't own flashes in my mind. In this memory, my father points ahead, repeatedly. Music, saying, "Devour, devour." I don't understand his insistence on devouring. What exactly is he urging me to consume? However, this flashback shifts my gaze to the beast on the ground. If I devour its flesh, I could acquire its ability through gluttony. And I personally felt how potent this mirror mimicry ability is. Just as I'm doubting whether to go for it, team leader Code Dickman's words from that day replay in my head. Within 1 year, monsters will descend on the world. When that day arrives, if I intend to protect my mother, I need to devour the beast standing before me. With that thought, I hunker down and begin to consume pieces of the monster's flesh. From this point on, if I encounter formidable monsters, I must feast on them as well. Not just for my sake, but for my mother actually, for the entire planet. After locating my mother, I rush her to the hospital. Just like the elderly woman before her, my mom has no recollection of what occurred in the yellow sand. This is a defining trait of ordinary people once the yellow sand fades away. To make my mom believe me, I explain that she collapsed on the mountain. I show her on my phone a fabricated news story from the government, advising her to avoid the mountains in the future. But her expression turns gloomy. She confides, "Someone saw a figure resembling my father at Inwang Mountain, which is why she went there." Indeed, considering it, my father vanished on a mountain too. Could he have encountered a monster? At this moment, another lost memory slips into my consciousness. I see my child self staring blankly up at a tree, as if witnessing something. Suddenly, a drop of fresh blood splats onto my face. My eyes widen in terror, and in that tree lurks a wolf-shaped monster covered in mouths, clutching a man whose face is unidentifiable. My heart races. This memory's abrupt return is shockingly similar to last time in the mountains. Before I can dwell on it further, my mother interrupts, questioning why I look so unwell if work is exhausting. I quickly respond, assuring her not to worry. I've already adjusted, and after this experience, I've resolved to continue as a special public servant. The first thing I face upon returning to the Genua Island team office is Manager Yoonji's reprimand. She demands to know where I've been without a word yesterday. Eden, as usual, mocks me, claiming I definitely bolted out of fear. To this, all I can do is apologize repeatedly from the sidelines. But unexpectedly, Kong Chena suddenly rises to defend me. She states, "Yesterday, she noticed I was unwell, so she let me go home early and just forgot to report it." Yoonji Won sweeps her hair back and questions what kind of joke this is. How could she forget something so crucial? Did your prior stellar performance lead us to pamper you too much? Kang Chana counters that she doesn't recall being pampered. Instantly, the mood grows tense. Music. And at that moment, a monster alert blares once again. Kong Chana quickly puts on her work uniform, stating she'll handle this level 2 monster first and will continue hearing the scolding upon her return. I also rise at that instant, declaring that I want to join too. This unexpected shift in demeanor leaves the entire Gangwon Island team utterly taken aback. Music. Just like that, Kang Chana leads Yosak and me up the mountain. On the way, I express my gratitude to Kong Chana for taking the blame for me. Kong Chana responds, "Didn't I run out because of what she said? Why did I come back?" Hearing this, I reply earnestly that I'm ready to battle monsters. Then suddenly, yellow sand sweeps across the ground. A level 2 monster emerges. Though level 2 monsters are typically weak, Kong Chana cautions us to stay vigilant, never underestimate it just because of its rank. The Inwon Mountain team got completely annihilated by a level 5 beast. Yosio chimes in, "Thank goodness the folks from city headquarters showed up to handle it. Otherwise, the fallout would be unimaginable. They're definitely worthy of being a group of level 7 and above power users. Super impressive. Hearing this, I'm left utterly confused. I clearly took down that monster. How did they get the credit? However, I really want to speak up and claim my recognition. But after that early leave incident, I still hesitate to say anything. This level 2 monster in front of us is acting quite odd, continually rubbing its armpits. Observing this, I step in front of Kong, Chana, and Yosak. Step back and let me handle this. Yosak looks at me in disbelief. He responds, I'm just a level 1 power user. How can I deal with a level 2 monster? Hearing this, I give a thumbs up to myself and say, just trust me. With that, I toss my hair back. A mirror appears on my forehead. As the mirror glimmers, I activate the mirror monster's ability, ready to face the level 2 beast that just appeared. I step forward, shielding everyone behind me, declaring, I've got this monster. Then I flick my hair back, feeling it's finally time to showcase what I'm capable of. I need to prove I'm not the most useless team member anymore. As the mirror on my forehead gleams, the mirror monster's ability activates music since its skill is to replicate the opponent's powers. Suddenly, my hands reach for my armpits. Just like the creature in front of me, I begin wildly rubbing my armpits. A wave of stench starts to emanate from under my arms. The level 2 monster sniffs the air and scrunches its face slightly. It realizes the smell is foreign and is shocked that someone would dare to launch a stink attack against it. With that realization, it starts flailing its arms around, music unleashing an unending onslaught of odor towards me. This stench attack is truly remarkable, stinging my eyes and piercing my nose while exuding a repulsive, sewage-like aroma. But I absolutely cannot back down because if I surrender, the team will never recognize me. With that thought, I charge with my arms swinging, cranking up the intensity. When titans clash, ordinary folks take the brunt. Namio-Seek desperately covers his mouth and nose, trying to shield himself from the air, recognizing that this monster's ability is armpit stench, a scent that rivals biological warfare. Kang Chana next to him is in an even worse predicament, nearly fainting from the odor, her body swaying, ready to collapse at any moment. Seeing this, he quickly supports Kong Chana, grumbling that as a level 7 power user, how can she succumb to such a minor smell? Mid-music fight, I glance back and see their situation is grim. If this keeps up, we might all go down here. I need to wrap up this battle, music swiftly. With that thought, I ramp up my hand movements, launching a more aggressive odor offensive. At this point, this is more than just a simple fight, it's a magical bombardment. I have to wrap this fight music up fast. With that thought buzzing in my mind, I quicken my hand movements, unleashing an even more brutal odor offensive. At this point, this has escalated beyond a mere skirmish. It's like a magical onslaught. There's no clash of fists or scrape of blades in this fight. What we're really up against isn't sheer might or force, but the fastest hands and the strongest stomachs for bad smells. Yet, at the end, my lifelong lightning-fast hand speed comes out on top. The stench I unleash surges like colossal waves, wrapping the monster in a suffocating embrace. Finally, this showdown concludes with the armpit stench beast being wiped out. I stand there, inhaling the fresh air. Then I glance over and declare, I've emerged victorious in this battle, but joy is far from their faces. Instead, they all look utterly crushed. After conquering the armpit stench fiend, the three of us make our way to the riverbank to scrub off the odor. Kong Chana curiously inquires if consuming a monster with the gluttony skill lets me absorb its powers. I wipe my mouth and confirm she's right. The last beast I devoured possessed the mimicry skill, so now I can mimic the same ability as the armpit stench creature. Just then, Namio bursts out laughing. He remarks, I started off so grand, but I ended up striking with armpit stench. That ability is just plain strange. Hearing this, I feel a wave of embarrassment, my cheeks heating up. Kong Chana places a hand on my shoulder and says, I've improved and really grown compared to before. Then she tells me to relax here while she and Namio-Seek check if the alarm from the yellow sand detector has been turned off. As I watch them go, I plop down, feeling irritated. This was my moment to shine, but I ended up facing such an odd monster. Fantastic. Instead of being impressive, I just made a complete clown of myself. Just then, a shadow blocks the sunlight, casting over me. I turn to look, thinking Namio-Seek and the others are back, but it's unexpectedly Jong Ilu, the strongest ability user in the world. He leans closer and asks if I, being a level 1 ability user, really took down the level 5 monster at Inwang Mountain. Hearing this, I nod and ask how he knows, but he simply extends his hand, saying he wants to recruit me to S-City headquarters and asks if I'm aware of what S-City headquarters represents. I'm stunned, stepping back and replying, I've heard it's where the elite ability users convene, but why would he want a level 1 like me? Jong Ilu smirks knowingly, claiming he can sense a person's potential. However, abruptly leaving the Gangwa Island squad for headquarters would be a slap in the face to team leader Ko Dickman and the team. So, I respond, I need to think it over. After that, Jong Ilu heads back to headquarters, with Ryu Yunjin rushing behind him. She asks where he vanished to that delayed the meeting. Jong Ilu replies that he found someone intriguing. Ryu Yunjin asks, puzzled, if it's his son. She remembers the name Eden, but Jong Il shakes his head. After divorcing Eden's mother, the two lost contact. The one he's interested in isn't his son, it's me, this newcomer. Ryu Eunjun then questions whether he still believes the last monster incident connects to some rookie. To this, Jung Ilu confidently states that his gut tells him so. Meanwhile, I return to the Ganghwa Island Response Center, bursting with joy. Not only have I been acknowledged by the most skilled person, but I've also got the chance to report to S-City headquarters anytime I want. Music. Just when I'm feeling great, Eden's melancholic eyes find me again. He mutters, "What's with the grin all day? It's so irritating." He claims that a useless level 1 like me probably enjoys being at the office, since I'm scared. Hearing music that, I choose not to hold back. I throw back a sarcastic question about who's the real incompetent. Wasn't it because his skills weren't up to par that he couldn't make it over to S-City headquarters? After this, Eden leaps to his feet in fury. Music. I brace myself for an attack, but his comeback? A guy who can only harness armpit stench ability hits me where it hurts. My face flushes red, and I demand to know how he found out. The one to blame is, of course, Namio Seek, who's right now showcasing to the team leader how I battled that armpit stench monster that day. This sends the whole office into fits of laughter at my expense. Just then, Manager Yoon appears beside me, loudly rebuking them for mocking me, saying, "I performed excellently this time." But just as I'm feeling a bit moved, her next words hit even harder. "I used to hide in the bathroom before, and now I can take down a monster solo." What an impressive leap. After that, I feel crushed, because this is even more humiliating than what others have said. Moreover, Kang Chana's indifferent expression adds to my misery, making it feel like I'm being silently ridiculed. I realize I've already got the label of incompetence stuck on me. Just as I'm about to reach out to Jang Ilu to head for S-City headquarters for a fresh start, music. The level 2 monster alarm blares again. Kang Chana, as always, jumps up first, claiming she'll take care of it. But this time, Eden grabs her arm and seriously insists that he must be the one going this music time. He's dying of boredom here. He also tilts his head back before beckoning me to join him, stating he'll show me how a level 7 ability user tackles monsters. Even though music, I'd rather not spend another second with this weirdo. I have to follow him since it's a mission. But once we arrive at the scene, things take a turn for the worse because this music time, yellow sand is oozing from inside a house, indicating the monster's hiding within. And as we pry open the door and step inside, we find that the density of yellow sand here is even thicker than outside. This is definitely more than a level 2 alert, it's probably level 4 or higher. Unlike Eden's blind courage, I'm making my way in with extreme caution because there are too many vacant rooms around here. The monster could jump out and attack from any direction until we reach a door that's hissing and leaking yellow sand. Eden declares, at this rate, the monster should be in this room. After saying this, he tries the doorknob, but finds that music won't budge. He suspects it's locked from the inside. Right then, I quickly step in front of him, warning, hold on, before I try to open it. If a high-level monster comes charging out, we're done for. But Eden shoves me aside, telling me not to obstruct him. He figures, since it won't open, he'll just smash the whole thing down. After that, he snaps his fingers, unleashing his ability. For a moment, I think the door will explode into pieces, so I instinctively go into defensive mode. However, if a high-level monster shows up, we're done for. But Eden pushes me aside, urging me not to interfere. He figures if it won't budge, he'll just blow it apart. With that, he snaps his fingers and activates his power. For a split second, I brace myself, thinking the door is about to explode, so I prepare to defend. Yet, that door stands completely untouched, silent as a tomb. Eden's brow furrows, this shouldn't be going down like this. So, he peers through the keyhole and spots a creature lurking inside. Strangely, in the seemingly empty room, the beast hides, curled up and trembling in the corner. I notice I can see the room's state through the keyhole, so I lean in to take a peek. I'm baffled as to why this monster would lock itself away. It's probably not a heavy hitter. Yet, Eden calls me an idiot, insisting that the yellow sand there ranks at level 7 or higher. That's a serious threat. My heart races at this. Wasn't it said that remote spots like Ganghwa Island only host weaker monsters? Why are level 7 plus creatures creeping in here, too? But Eden declares, for the first time since we got here, I'm feeling the adrenaline finally, a real fight. Glancing at his maniac grin, I realize this guy is totally snapped. Even if we team up, survival isn't guaranteed. We need to escape and alert headquarters first. So, I twist the doorknob, ready to bolt, but I find that the exit door is stuck too. I throw my weight against it, but it holds firm. Just like the door hiding the monster, no budging. Just when I'm pondering if this is the monster's skill in play, Eden starts smashing against the door, yelling for that locked-up beast to face him. He snaps his fingers, utilizing his abilities 10 times in a frenzy. Yet, that door stands unscathed. Meanwhile, I'm also looking for other ways to break free. He activates his ability 10 times. Still, that stubborn door doesn't even have a single crack. Meanwhile, I try to find other escape routes. But whether it's doors, windows, or walls, everything has turned rock hard and utterly unyielding. This solidifies my belief that it's this trapped monster's power keeping us penned in. With no way to fight or flee, I can only hope the rest of the Manhwa Island team comes to our rescue. Meanwhile, at the Manhwa Island Command Center, team leader Ko Dukman suddenly bangs the table, declaring something big has happened. But what's huge to him isn't Eden and I being MIA. He just remembers that he forgot about the group training in F-City. Immediately, team members spring into action to gather supplies. They cram everything onto a USB drive and toss it at Ko Dukman, urging him to race to F-City for the training. After they finish, the team members think they can finally relax. Just then, Namio-Seek realizes that Eden and I have been AWOL for 3 hours. This causes a headache for Yoonji, who was just sipping coffee a moment ago. She mentions they shouldn't have let 2 rookies off by themselves. After saying this, she instructs Namio-Seok to accompany her to check, while Kim Hyuk and Kang Chena stay behind to manage the rest. But Kang Chena senses something off about it all. She stands, slips on her jacket, and insists on going, too. Seeing this, Yoonji leans in and whispers to her, quietly asking if the scene they're heading to is near that spot. Are you really sure you're okay? Upon hearing this, Kang Chena grabs her jacket and makes a move. Don't sweat it, I'm all good. Let's hurry up. Soon, they reach the scene. Just as they're questioning where Eden and I have vanished to, Namio-Seok spots 2 shadowy figures emerging from the depths of the corridor. Namio-Seok spots 2 shadowy figures emerging from the depths of the corridor. Right now, Eden and I are sprinting towards them, yelling for them not to shut the door. But we're just a moment too late. The door slams shut. Watching this unfold, both Eden and I feel a fracture inside our hearts. Yoon Ji-won glances at our defeated expressions and asks what's going on. I proceed to recount everything, one detail at a time. After hearing me out, Kang Chena steps back, determined to take action. With that, her arm starts transforming into metal. In mere seconds, a metallic blade takes shape. Kang Chena strikes the door with all her strength, yet it stands undamaged. Then, Yoon Ji-won rolls up her sleeves, eager to give it a shot. Her skill is the spider monster ability. She plans to use the spider's tiny form to squeeze through the keyhole and into the room. Still, the opening is far too small. The spider can't get in at all. Watching everyone showcase their powers, Eden urges Namio to stop lazing about and see if he can help us. But Namio-Seok replies that his ability isn't offensive. Now, aside from team leader Ko Dipman and manager Kim Yi-bak, all the other team members have gathered here. The team leader is in a training session and won't return until tomorrow. The only one who might save us now is manager Kim Yi-bak. Just then, a figure suddenly appears, catching us by surprise. It's manager Kim Yi-bak. He mentions he came to check on us since we were late. We quickly explain the situation to Kim Yi-bak again. He then crouches down to peer through the keyhole and assess what's happening inside. Just as Yoon Ji-won asks if he has a plan, manager Kim Yi-bak lays flat on the ground. This bizarre action leaves us frozen in confusion for 3 seconds. I step up, asking what kind of tactic this is. It looks like he's just lying there, ready to snooze. Yoon Ji-won shrugs, admitting she has no idea either. Manager Kim usually deals with internal matters, and she's never witnessed him use his ability. While everyone remains puzzled, Namio's points out, "Isn't it odd? That monster won't come out, so how's it planning to end us?" At that moment, the whole house shakes violently. Kang Chena quickly darts outside, exclaiming, "The noise is coming from the inner room." When we reach the spot, we are taken aback by what we see. The inner room is collapsing in on itself. Eden shouts, realizing he finally grasps the shut-in monster's sinister goal. It aims to annihilate the entire house, leaving only its own space, thus sealing our fate. Just then, the shut-in monster inside begins to split as the room continues to vanish. Kang Chana bites her finger, shapes a metal blade, and charges in. She forces the blade into the cracks of the room's walls, attempting to halt the relentless shrinking. But soon, fractures creep across the metal blade. Kang Chana keeps biting down hard, letting her blood infuse and strengthen the blade. This is a perilous move because if the blade shatters, a flying shard could decapitate her. Furthermore, the room is still collapsing. If she doesn't let go and escape quickly, she'll be obliterated. Just as Yoon Ji-won yells for Kang Chana to pull back, I rush in and grab her as the metal blade snaps sharply in half. I leap forward and intercept her as the metal blade snaps in two with a loud crack. Kang Chen's eyes slowly fill with despair. Silent tears roll down her cheeks, yet her gaze stays locked on the mural that's being devoured. Just as the whole room is on the brink of being completely wiped out, I grab Kang Chana and make it out just in time. At this instant, the tremors from the room's collapse cease, and Kang Chana loses consciousness from severe blood loss. Confused, I ask Yeon-won why Kang Chana would go to such extremes. Yooni explains that this is actually Kang Chana's grandmother's home. It's where she lost her grandmother and younger brother, surviving on her own and gaining her powers. It turns out that 4 years ago, she came from a joyful family. The reason she just did that was that there's a mural in that room, drawn by her younger brother, depicting their little family. I feel a wave of guilt, so that's the backstory. But right now, our priority is to escape since we can't tell if the next compression will erase the entire house. We need to act fast before the walls close in again. The small cracks in the wall ahead become our glimmer of hope. We relentlessly chip away at the cracks with small knives, trying to music widen them. We take shifts throughout the long night, everyone growing weary. Even Kang Chana, finally regaining her strength, pitches in. I scratch my head and tell Kang Chana, I heard this is her grandmother's house. Even though it's empty, it looks really clean. She must come back to tidy up often. But Kang Chana says she waits for the monster that butchered her family. I ask her how she knows that monster will return, because this one is different from others. In her memories, music, the monsters at her home weren't just the metal blade kind. There was one that appeared almost human. It seemed to have a purpose, even intelligence, unlike the others who just seek destruction. Within a year, when monsters swarm into our world, that guy will undoubtedly show up again. That's also why she stayed on Ganghwa Island. Suddenly, the house begins to contract and tremble once more. We can only retreat into the corridor. By dawn, the house has shrunk by a third. The night leaves us breathless. Just when I think we can finally catch our breath, the house shakes again. I glance at Manager Kim, who's still fast asleep nearby. I want to wake him up so we can find a safe spot together, but then Manager Kim abruptly stands up, half his face covered music in thick mold. He remarks that things should be ready now. Suddenly, the tightly shut door flies open. The shut-in monster, its head cloaked in mold, rushes out in anguish. This shocking sight has us frantically grilling Kim Yibok about what ability he used to make the shut-in music. Monster, who never leaves, burst out all on its own. It turns out his monster ability revolves around mold, also known as the chronic killer. Music, it just requires a long time to take effect. After placing mold in the door crack, he simply went to sleep. We cast aside our earlier gloom and praise his ability as truly remarkable. But just then, Eden shouts for us to stop chattering. The situation seems to be spiraling out of control because music, it looks like there's more than one shut-in monster. A swarm of shut-in monsters bursts forth from the room. Fear grips me. We had only seen one monster through the keyhole earlier. I feel a jolt of fear. We only glimpsed one monster through the keyhole moments ago. What caused this sudden surge of shut-in monsters? And these aren't just any monsters, they're genuine level 7 threats. How are we supposed to withstand their onslaught? As I ponder this, the shut-in army is already charging at us. Music. Kang Chana swiftly activates her power, manifesting a metal blade while urging Nam Yozuk to conceal the team members. Namio's music monstrous ability creates a domain that renders any presence invisible. Every living being becomes entirely undetectable, achieving perfect concealment. With that said, Kang Chana launches forward with her blade in hand. In a single blow, she obliterates the first advancing monster. I figured with her weapon ready, she could slice through them all, but to my surprise, the cramped corridor hinders her range of motion. The strike that dispatched the first shut-in monster embeds the blade deep into the wall, making it impossible to retrieve. Additionally, the metal blade is fused to her arm, leaving her completely immobilized. Spotting a shut-in monster stomping on the blade, gearing up to attack, I swiftly exit the hidden domain, leap into action, and sink my teeth into the monster, rescuing Kang Chana from peril. And with Gluttony's deadly might, I bring it down. I realize that even though these shut-in monsters are level 7, their offensive and defensive capabilities fall short of that level. On top of that, their tactics seem limited to lunges and bites, as if they music aren't even attempting to leverage their abilities. Before I can contemplate further, Namiook screams in horror that the ceiling is descending. The shut-in monster plans to completely crush and obliterate the corridor. Upon witnessing this, I swallow a piece of flesh. Immediately, I aim to trigger the shut-in monster's ability, but what manifests is still the mirror monster's power. With no time to ponder the reasoning behind this, I quickly employ the mirror to mimic and replicate the shut-in monster's ability. If the shut-in monster wants to compress, then I'll counteract by expanding it. A balance is struck between the opposing forces. However, maintaining this stance means I can't move. This grants the other monsters a chance, and they launch themselves fiercely at me. But just as they close in within a foot, their heads twist a complete 760 degrees and pop off. Eden berates me as a fool, questioning why I don't trigger the mirror monster ability within Namioseek's hidden barrier. But I warn him to watch his back, as multiple monsters have clung to him, biting his arm, stopping him from unleashing his snapping ability. At that moment, a massive spider emerges out of nowhere. Its razor-sharp claws tear through the bodies of those monsters. I didn't anticipate Yoonji's little spider being such a colossal beast. As team lead and support, Namioseek instructs Eden to assist Kang Chana. The two of them will take out the enemies while he and Yoonji-won keep me safe to prevent the space from collapsing. Without hesitation, the two level 7 abilities unleash their full force. Their killing efficiency noticeably skyrockets, yet the army of shut-in monsters shows no signs of dwindling. At this music moment, Yoonji perceives the issue through her spider senses. The shut-in monsters are continuously flooding out of the room where they originated. This only reinforces my theory. The shut-in monster likely possesses more than one ability. It also has a secondary power to create clones because these countless recluse creatures before us lack the strength of level 7. After stating this, I ditch the ability fight and sprint out from the no-presence barrier. I yell at Eden and Kongchana to carve out a bloody path for me. Eden and Kongchana instantly grasp my intent. They go all out, fighting their way to the exit. I take my chance, leap forward, and dive into the room. The scene here is just as I anticipated. Music, teeming with endless monsters, and the recluse creature's true form squats in the corner, continually splitting apart. It directs these clones to engage in battle via red threads music on its back while staying hidden in its safe room. Witnessing this, an unnamed fury ignites music within me. I lift my arm. If it enjoys lurking in its space, then it can stay there forever. After saying this, I activate the recluse ability copied from the mirror monster. I make this room start to collapse and compress, utterly obliterating them. But I need to make my escape before the entire room crumbles. Music. Watching the ceiling plummet and the exit shrink smaller, I run with every ounce of strength, uncertain if I'll escape in time. Fortunately, at this moment, Eden and Kongchana have completely dispatched the recluse clones outside and arrive just in time, extending their hands toward me. In the last moment before the collapse, I grab Eden's hand. He swiftly pulls me out with a loud crash. The room is entirely obliterated and becomes a wall. With this, the recluse creature is fully dealt with. We revel in this unexpected survival victory. This time, I finally earn their respect, receiving non-stop praise from them. But just as the celebration kicks in, music. Chana wears a saddened expression. She gazes at the vanished inside room, struggling to recover from the moment because it held the most treasured time of her life. Seeing her despondent figure, my heart feels like it's been stabbed. I need to do something, but the recluse creature is dead, and I can't use the mirror anymore. The only plan left is to use gluttony. Devour the recluse creature's remains on the floor, let the recluse creature's power overwrite the mirror monster's abilities, and utilize the recluse ability to restore the space before the golden sand vanishes completely. With this thought, I take hold of the monster's arm and sink my teeth in. This alarms Nam Yosia, who steps back repeatedly, questioning my actions, but I brush off his inquiry before the golden sand disappears. I tap into the recluse ability to start restoring this house. Everyone watches in disbelief. Is gluttony truly just a level 1 ability? As the room nears complete restoration, the amount of golden sand isn't sufficient. Just as I'm considering holding on a bit longer, Kongchana seizes my arm and says, "That's enough." In that instant, her eyes shine like a rainbow after rain. At that moment, she appears as if she's part of a vibrant mural, alive and vivid. Meanwhile, Code Duckman returns from F-City training with bread in his hands, but he realizes the office is entirely deserted. He went through all this trouble to bring bread for everyone from F-City, yet is clueless about our whereabouts. He scours through every room, yet not a single soul is in sight. But at that moment, Director Jong calls out to him. He scours through every room but still doesn't see a single person. But at this moment, Director Jong calls out to him. Kodakman picks up the phone and asks what's going on. Jung Il-do shares that he invited me to headquarters, but they turned him down, asking Kodakman if he knows the reason behind it. Upon hearing this, Kodakman bursts into laughter. Maybe that guy has finally found his groove with our Gangwa Island crew. And right now, after a day of chaos, we're all fast asleep. Even heading to work tomorrow, I still feel drained. The weariness from facing off with the shut-in monster leaves me feeling utterly lifeless. I even think that going to work is just such a hassle. Suddenly, a barrage of honking echoes around me. A sleek white luxury car screeches to a halt nearby. Inside it is Eden, lost in thought about yesterday's life or death battle we shared. I suppose we're life and death buddies, music now. So with a smile, I say, since we're headed the same way, mind giving me a lift, too? But Eden just scowls and snaps, get lost. Then he speeds off, leaving me wondering if he's just trying to flex on me. Namosik suddenly pops up behind me, voicing his jealousy over Eden's imported ride. He adds that as a fresh public servant, driving an imported car to work seems a bit over the top, doesn't it? I can't help but agree with Namio, Sak, chiming in. Plus, his attitude is the worst. Namio adds, no matter how good-looking or wealthy he is, who cares if he's got a terrible personality? He must be friendless. We both crack up music together, but somehow, I can't shake off this feeling of defeat. After all, Eden and I share one thing in common. We both have no music friends. I even find myself envying Eden a tiny bit. Once I get to the office, I'm met by team leader Code Dakeman, music with a big grin. Completely different from when he first greeted me. He happily exclaims, "Welcome, level 7 ability user." I can't help but place my hand on his head. What level 7 ability user? Yoonjan walks past, carrying music documents, explaining that since I used my gluttony ability to consume a level 7 monster, I've naturally leveled up to a level 7 ability user, right? She even tosses in a congratulations. Then I hear a loud thud as Kodakman playfully bumps me, saying he thought I was super weak but didn't expect this gluttony ability to be top tier. Namio-sak looks even more envious, his face glowing with admiration, saying, "You're the only one who can consistently boost their abilities. Truly remarkable." In that instant, I feel happier than ever before because it's the first time, apart from my sweet, absolutely incredible, In that moment, I'm more thrilled than ever because it's the first time, apart from my gentle nature, petite mom, that I've received such acknowledgement from so many people. However, this cheerful scene prompts Eden to bang his fist on the table in frustration, gloomily stating, "Stop music chatting. Don't you folks have work to get to?" His ominous gaze gives me pause. He ignored me before since I was level 1, but now that I've leveled up, he still seems unsatisfied. Is this what they call jealousy and resentment? Just then, a delicate hand lands on my shoulder. Kang Chena. He's still not satisfied. Is this what they call the thrill of envy and resentment? Just then, a slender hand rests on my shoulder. It's Kang Chena. Freshly out of the shower, approaches me, towel in hand, saying she wants to chat outside. We settle into the chairs outside, and I curiously ask what she wants to discuss. She expresses her gratitude for what I did at her grandmother's house. I respond, "Aren't we on the same team?" This is where I stand firm. But just then, she leans in closer, her face inches from mine. She whispers that I've always been on her mind. My heart instantly begins to race. What could she mean by being on her mind? Is this the fabled confession? Should I reject or embrace it? I probe her for the nature of this thought. She states with utmost seriousness that she doesn't believe I'm a level 1 ability user. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. This isn't the response I expected, yet I persist, asking her to elaborate on why she thinks I'm above a level 1 ability user. She explains it's due to my impressive recovery power and the ability to absorb monster abilities. There's no way a level 1 user could have those skills. I clench my jaw and reminisce. So, the level 1 beast I met that day wasn't the gluttony monster. Kang Chana urges me to reflect on any other monsters I might have faced before becoming a special public servant. Yet, despite racking my brain, it seems impossible to forget something so critical. Just then, I catch sight of a wisp of black smoke curling up behind Kang Chana. It looks like something ominous is about to materialize from that smoke. In a flash, my heart races uncontrollably. That monstrous vision I buried in my memory is now manifesting here. Panic swiftly returns, shattering my earlier calmness. I silently curse. Damn it, the hallucinations are resurfacing. Is this panic disorder going to hit me again? Kang Chana notices my distressed demeanor and anxiously asks, "What's the matter? Are you all right?" I tug at my hair, assuring her I'm okay, just remembering some scary memories. She grabs my hand firmly, stating, "Don't be afraid." With her by my side, I feel shielded. Her gesture chases my panic away, leaving me with a flushed face. She also seems to sense that demons from my past have resurfaced. Just then, Ko Dickman, dressed in a vibrant red coat, steps beside us and quips about our dating status. I flail my arms, face burning, eager to clarify, but Kang Chana coolly interrupts, claiming no, adding that if monsters invade within a year, it's game over for us. What's left to discuss about dating? Totally disinterested. Her chilling words cut deep, like a dagger to the heart. This is excruciating. Is her disinterest aimed at me or dating in general? Watching Kang Chana walk away, Ko Dickman nudges me with intrigue, saying, "Young man, looks like you've been rejected, but reality is way off from what he thinks." As I gaze at Kang Chana's retreating silhouette, I can't shake the sting of hurt. Time flies. In a heartbeat, there's just 1 hour left until our shift wraps up. So, Yoonji Won instructs everyone, except the duty crew, to check the yellow sand detectors. I'm teamed up with Kang Chana to monitor our assigned zone. She records the yellow sand detection frequency while my mind spirals back to our previous talk. If we're all fated to perish, as Manager Kang warned, then dwelling on frivolities is futile. I need to focus on how to outlast the monsters. Yet, pondering the minimal intel we have on them, I wish we could strike up a conversation. Yet, with so little info we have on them, I wish we'd be able to have a little chat. But at that moment, a phone starts ringing from the mountains, and it's the one we only use in emergencies. Namos, on the other end, gravely injured, warns there's a monster lurking in Zone 3. He and Team Leader Ko are both hurt, and that creature is coming our way. He urges us to watch out for what the monster might say. Kang Chana is stunned. How is this even possible? Team Leader Ko is a level 10 ability user. How could he be wounded? I stand there in disbelief. That laid-back uncle I thought I knew is really a powerful level 10 ability user. But before my shock can settle, yellow sand begins to swirl around us. The monster has arrived. Kang Chana warns me to stay alert. This is an opponent that even a level 10 ability user can't contend with. Amidst the yellow sand, a silhouette resembling a sniper scope slowly appears. It's a monster with a gaping hole in its head. The moment it spots us, it greets us in a human voice, saying, "Hello there." The monster makes a rather straightforward request, but it leaves both ability users completely stunned. Noticing our silence, it asks again, "Nice to meet you. Can we chat?" Right now, I'm baffled how it can speak like a person. I can't believe it. Are monsters really supposed to just mimic sounds without true language skills? Kang Chana responds, "This must be a language monster. It's my first time facing a monster that can actually talk." The language monster senses our apprehension. It raises its hand, assuring us it means no harm, just wants a conversation. I inquire, music, what it wishes to discuss, but Chana insists I shouldn't engage with it. Nam Yosi had already cautioned her about this, but I see an opportunity to gain insight about monsters. They're out to kill us, and yet we know so little about them. Ignoring Chana's warnings, I inquire where they come from. The language monster beams with excitement that someone actually replied. Music. It says it's from Nar. I follow up, asking what Nar is. It grins and replies, Naraka is the deepest part of hell. People who committed terrible sins in their lives are trapped there, battling endlessly in the dark. Its words send chills racing down my spine, my heart racing. Does this mean all these monsters used to be human? Before I can gather my thoughts, the monster reads my mind and declares, you're spot on. Monsters were once human. My pupils. Music dilate in shock. How is this even conceivable? If monsters were once human, then what have I been consuming all this time? I can't help but retch violently. At this moment, the monster points at us, saying it's its turn to ask questions. Just as I'm pondering what it'll inquire, Shauna suddenly grips my hand, warning me not to say another word. Then, she slashes her own palm with a knife, stating that even though it appears friendly, it's the one who ambushed team leader Ko and Namio. She's done conversing with this creature. As she's speaking, a spear materializes in her hand. Observing this, the language monster raises both hands, pleading to cease hostilities. But Chana is unbothered. Firmly clutching her spear, she lunges forward. Just as the spear is about to penetrate the monster's throat, a voice unexpectedly escapes from the language monster's throat. Even if you kill me, you won't be able to avenge your brother. In that moment, Chana freezes, as if ensnared by some sort of magic. You can't seek revenge for your brother. Instantly, Chana seems frozen, as if caught by some spell. The language beast shoves the spear millimeters from his throat, sneering. Your brother breathed his last because of you. In that instant, time halts in Cha's reality, pulling her back to that devastating night. Her brother is impaled by a steel sword. That music strike from the metallic fiend was aimed at her, but her brother intercepted it. His tormented gaze and his dying words, run, Chana, as the iron sword withdraws. The mental scars consume him entirely. Chana cradles her brother's lifeless form, weeping uncontrollably. In reality, blood trickles from the corner of her mouth. She collapses to her knees with a heavy thud. The language beast taunts, your brother died defending you. As the older sister, shouldn't you have shielded him? You're the murderer. Watching Shauna suddenly crumple, I scream her name and dash in. I catch her just as she is about to hit the ground, but the gaping wound in her heart sends shockwaves through me. I never saw the language beast strike her. How did music this injury happen? Could this monster's method of attack be using words as weapons, inflicting mental scars? Before I can ponder further, the beast steps closer. All right, let's keep chatting. Don't worry about that person mourning her family. Hearing this, I demand he silence his filthy mouth. How can I maintain a conversation with a monster who casually sneers at others' sorrows? As I speak, my furious fist crashes into the language beast's face. Before he can respond, his body slams violently to the ground. I jump up and strike again. No matter if you're human or ghost, in this moment, you are irredeemable. But just as my blow is about to connect, the monster hisses. Why do you care for her? She already left you. Those words halt me completely. I find myself unable to move. Simultaneously, from an unseen space, a thread shoots out. A wound breaks open in my chest. Something has pierced my heart, yet I feel no emotional pain. Why can it still strike me? I glance at Shauna on the ground, realizing I never viewed her as a romantic possibility. To me, she's always been a strong, cool senior. Currently, Chana lies still, lost in memories, whispering, I'm sorry, brother. I clutch my chest, contemplating music. How the aftershocks of this assault can linger so long. Meanwhile, the language beast grabs a rock from the ground. His verbal onslaught persists. Emotions really do render people vulnerable, even though he himself never felt them, not even when he was human. As the beast raises the rock and creeps closer, my body remains paralyzed. He suddenly bends down and roars at me. Why are you silent? Can't you even manage a word now? That's when it dawns on me. Anyone with feelings cannot withstand heart wound assaults. This explains why even a level 10 team leader was taken out. Unless a cold-hearted person immune to emotional wounds comes to my aid, Music, Shauna, and I will perish here today. Just as the language beast prepares to bring the rock crashing down on me, his entire form suddenly begins to twist with a snap. It's Eden, arriving just Music, in the nick of time. He asks, weren't you supposed to be tough? What's with you kneeling on the ground? Upon seeing Eden, I can't help but feel relieved, thinking, this psycho finally showed up. But then, noticing me, Eden seizes my collar and shouts, what are you grinning about? Just then, the language beast's voice cuts through once more. Your attack feels like a gentle brush. Eden never imagined the beast could endure such a hit. The language monster smirks, tilting his head. My vocal cords are incredibly resilient. This kind of blow won't shatter them. He's taunting us. You novices need to step up your game. His taunts ignite rage in both Eden and me. Still, I caution Eden to tread carefully. That creature taps into human memories and strikes at your emotional soft spots. But Eden tells me to zip it. He doesn't need advice from a beginner. He insists I keep quiet and just observe. I think to myself, this dude is truly off his rocker. His crude attitude mirrors that monster's. Meanwhile, as Eden relaxes, he snaps his fingers to trigger his breaking ability. With the sound of that snap, The strike brutally shatters the monster's leg. But in that moment, the language monster delves into Eden's memories and strikes with a verbal assault. Your attacks are nothing impressive. No wonder you can't earn your great father's respect. Yet, Eden appears completely unfazed. He keeps snapping his fingers, activating his power. The language monster's entire skeleton crumbles with each successive snap. Seeing that this verbal assault yields no results, the monster cranks up his attack. So, you're just like me? Devoid of emotion. The offspring of women who went mad and took their own lives after their husbands left them always end up like this. Upon hearing this, Eden truly darkens and lowers his gaze. I'm taken aback as well. Eden's backstory is so heart-wrenching. I always thought he was just some spoiled rich kid. But despite his madness, being assaulted like this must have stretched him to his breaking point. Just as I'm about to step in and intervene, Eden, who was frowning a moment ago, suddenly bursts out laughing. So what? What of it? The moment those words escape his lips, he charges forward and grabs the monster's throat. Can you fault me? Blame my mom for being too fragile and weak. Only the fierce endure. The language monster realizes even this doesn't faze him, so he mockingly unleashes his final devastating strike. Then, it seems you won't survive either because you're even more feeble than that kid beside you. In that split second, Eden freezes. Even his mother's death didn't shake him. But saying he's weaker than me delivers a crushing blow. At the same time, the language monster fires a blade of light, just as it's poised to pierce Eden's heart. I barely managed to block it with my arm at the last moment. I finally discerned this guy's attack strategy. First, he deploys heart wound attacks to drag people into despair. Then, he utilizes the tongue blade shot from his mouth to strike the heart. At this instant, the awakened Shauna rushes in and slices through the monster's tongue blade with a single blow. This makes the language monster scream in torment. The blade lodged in his throat is his Achilles heel. No wonder shattering his entire body caused him no distress. Shauna pivots and checks if we're all right, but watching her fluid, smooth movements makes my cheeks flush and my heart race. Yet I shake my head, compelling myself to focus. Right now, reviving Eden is paramount. I continue shaking him, but it's futile. He mutters, saying I'm weaker than he is. I scratch my nose, surprised he cares so deeply. So, I give his body a kick. Shake it off. Don't let that jerk's words get to you. Sure, I'm awesome too, but you're even more awesome than I am. As my words echo in the air, Eden's body music quivers a bit, then a confident look flashes on his face. Naturally, the language monster, its tongue blade chopped off, can't utter a word yet. It can only wave its tongue blade to keep us at bay. I know that if we don't take him out now, the night will only bring greater chaos. But with that tongue blade, we can't approach it. Chaina claims she'll deal with this. Even though the monster can't talk, music, she views this as an opportunity. But Eden halts her, questioning if she's planning to take on the monster in this state. That's when Shauna realizes the injury inflicted by the language monster is still fresh. I also see that as long as that beast is still standing, the heart wound attack remains in play, preventing any healing. Staring at one music-injured individual and another power user who's out of luck, I know I need to jump in. So, I sprint toward the forest, throwing out some taunts. I attempt to bait the language monster into following me. As it pursues, I shout to Eden, "Music, look after Manager Kang. I'll take care of this monster." But Eden curses me, calling me a fool, stating my current ability only shines in confined spaces. Hearing this, Cha instantly tells Eden to stop worrying about her and rush to help me. In the meantime, I guide the language monster deeper into the woods. While running, I scout for any enclosed area, but right now, besides trees, there aren't any buildings in sight. Just as I'm pondering my next move, a white car suddenly halts on the road music below me. Eden flings open the car door, yelling for me to hurry over. Spotting this, I burst through the guardrail and leap down. I think to myself, this dude, Eden, is really generous. A true young mogul. So enviable. In a flash, I dive into the car. I stretch out my hand and taunt the monster yet again. Come on in. The language monster truly can't resist mockery and creeps into the car after me. Then Eden slams the car door shut from the outside, shouting, "Closed." Hearing the cue, I slip out the other side. But just as I'm about to close the car door, the language monster's tongue blade lashes out music viciously. It slices me completely in half, including my head. But just as the language monster believes it has won and opens the music car door, a hand grabs its throat from behind. It whirls around in total shock. Not only am I in one piece, but several identical versions of me emerge inside the car. What it just sliced with its tongue blade was merely a clone. The music original is still in the car, continuously splitting and producing more clones. Now my clones drag it back into the car and start viciously tearing music into it with their teeth. Outside, Eden sees that the plan is working, but I haven't yet exited. He keeps pounding on the car window, asking how long I intend to stay inside. Then, as music, if coming to a realization, his eyes widen in shock. Does that guy seriously not plan to come out at all from the beginning? Just then, Chaina arrives, nursing her wound, asking Eden music where I am. Inside the car, the monster being shredded by clones has no escape and tries to throw verbal jabs to turn the tables. It sneers, "You're just a brute, just like your father." Hearing this, my eyes widen. A hidden memory rushes back into my mind. I see my younger self being yanked by the collar by my father, hoisted brutally into the air. A buried memory suddenly flickers in my mind. I see my younger self yanked up by my father, lifting me off the ground. His lips keep chanting, "Fight, music, fight." The language beast's voice echoes on, lingering even after that violent father vanished. You must have felt such relief to shut down his verbal barrage. I keep pounding my ears with both hands until my eardrums feel like they might explode. At last, silence prevails. Enough already. Stop messing with people's feelings. The language beast smirks, assuming it got to me. Just as it gears up for another verbal assault, I slam my hand over its mouth while my replicas hold down its entire form. As my fist tightens, the shut-in monster's ability triggers in an instant. The white car's body rapidly crunches in on itself at an alarming pace. Chaina's desperate screams try to halt it, but Eden stops her, saying, "If I don't cherish my life, does she not value hers either?" With a loud snap, the white car music is instantly squished into a compact mass. Their faces drop into stunned silence. Simultaneously, the yellow sand surrounding them begins to vanish, signifying the language beast is completely gone now. Shauna urgently tries to pry open the car's shell, desperate to pull me out, but Eden warns her it's too late. The scene is ruthless. He believes I'm already gone, but Shauna remains resolute, hastening her movements, saying, "My recovery isn't like that of ordinary ability users. If she can extract me before the yellow sand fully disappears, I might just make it." Witnessing Cha's determination, Eden jumps in too. While they struggle, he curses me as a fool for opting for mutual destruction with the beast. Meanwhile, I find myself in an eerie space. Everything around me is pitch black. My body feels heavy and numb. The incessant chatter of the language beast is absent. Did I end it? I'm inquisitive about what it intended to say in its last moments. Just then, the language beast's voice resurfaces in my ear, stating, "Naraka is seeking me. Don't forget my mission." As I sleepily question what mission, the language beast bellows, "Wake up." I jerk my eyes open. Before I can process my surroundings, my stomach growls ominously. Suddenly, my clothes tear apart. A hand bursts forth from my stomach. Then, that wolfish monster, only a memory, materializes before me. It caresses my music face, asking if I recall it. I gaze at it in horror, cold sweat dripping down my brow. A sealed memory springs back to life in my mind. I view my younger self, frozen in terror. It's a creature cloaked in mouths, perpetually music drooling. In panic, I grip my father's shirt tightly. That's a monster. We have to flee. Yet, my father lifts me up, declaring that I must fight that thing from now on. Tears streaming, I plead with him. Why? My father explains that I must gain the special monster power from it. Only then can I enter Naraka. I keep begging on the ground, but he hurls me towards the monster. This is a memory I dread to unearth. Simultaneously, noticing he can't breach the door, Eden snaps his fingers to activate his power before the yellow sand disappears completely. The compressed car door splinters open. He swiftly removes the remaining debris, finally discovering me trapped inside. I'm utterly crushed. All my bones twisted and shattered into a heap. Eden and Cha watch in disbelief, their eyes wide with shock. No hope remains. Even the healing yellow sand has vanished entirely. I can't survive this. But then something strange occurs. I expel healing yellow sand. Music. In the blink of an eye, all my shattered bones heal completely. This wild scene hits the two level 7 ability users hard, their eyes popping wide open. You see, yellow sand is something only true monsters can create. But standing right in front of them is a level 1 ability user who can generate yellow sand just like a beast. However, once I recover, I just lie on the ground, snoozing as if nothing's wrong. This freaks Eden out, prompting him to kick my back, demanding to know what I really am. I turn around, feigning confusion. Eden yanks my collar, lifting me up and questioning. Did I just spit out yellow sand like some monster? His words stir a flicker in my memory. After taking down the language monster, I recalled a long-buried memory. The gluttony ability didn't just pop up overnight. No, I've had it since I was a kid. It all traces back to my father, who left me alone in the forest to battle the gluttony monster. Just as I ponder why he did this, my old panic disorder comes roaring back. Seeing me crumple to the ground, Eden gapes, shouting, "What's wrong? Why did I just drop?" Chana clutches Eden's shoulder at that moment, saying, "It's just my panic disorder flaring up. I need to rest." She insists this stays between the three of us. Eden pushes her hand off his shoulder, questioning if they shouldn't alert headquarters and let this monster-like guy slide. Chana calmly explains they still don't comprehend why I produce yellow sand. Reporting this now could threaten my life. But just then, Eden steps closer to Chana, his face intense, asking what if I turn out to be as dangerous as a monster. Yet Chana, with resolute eyes, says she doesn't believe I'll pose any danger. Eden looks back at my collapsed form, then brushes his hair back, shrugging it off as if he doesn't care what I become. Just like that, the three of us reach an agreement to keep my yellow sand ability under wraps. But after regaining consciousness, realizing I can produce yellow sand like a monster, I feel utterly crushed. What's the story with the gluttony monster? Why can I generate yellow sand like a beast? As I worry about becoming a monster, hallucinations flood my vision once again. In the train's glass reflection, I see myself morphed into the gluttony monster. Terrified, I stumble back. Nam-Yoseo catches sight of this and asks what I'm up to, reminding me not to do anything weird on the subway. Clutching my chest, I tell him about the bizarre illusion and ask if he has time to talk, but Yosak raises his hand, declining, saying he sticks to his rule of not meeting coworkers after hours. His words sting a little, as I thought Yosak was the friendliest guy on the team. Then, Yosak's phone buzzes. He picks up and finds it's his old colleague Kim Wooju reaching out. So, I tag along as Yosak heads to a small bar. Yosak drunkenly points at Kim Wooju, telling him to put in for a transfer out of the Gwangan team, but Kim Wooju hesitates to reply right away. Instead, he asks who's sitting next to Yosak. Yosak turns to me, complaining about why I followed him. I slump on the table, also tipsy and dazed, saying I'm feeling low and don't want to be alone. After some chatting, I get the full story. Kim Wooju faced awful bullying in the Gwangan team and wants to quit. So, he reached out to Yosak, who also suffered the worst of the bullying there once. But unlike Kim Wooju, Yosak's personality isn't weak. He called for Yosak because Yosak had also been a part of the Gwangan team and was the most brutally bullied there. But he's definitely not timid like Kim Wooju. He decided to stir things up and switched music to the current Gwangan crew. Catching wind of this, I'm livid. What kind of people are part of the Gwangan crew? How can they be so over the top? Yoseo clenches his glass, zoning out momentarily. He pipes up, "Those fools are like demons, a gathering of lowlifes." Then he tells me with seriousness that many of the special public servants are rotten to the core. They're as hazardous as beasts. Music. If monsters terrify ability users, then those guys are the real monsters for regular folks. Hearing this, it suddenly clicks in my mind what Eden mentioned earlier. I start to wonder if I'll also turn out as threatening as a monster. Finally, Kim Wooju can't handle his booze and passes out cold. Yos and I decide to drag him over to his parents' place, planning to leave straight after. As Yosak swings open the shop door, his eyes go wide, shocked by the scene unfolding before him. Inside the shop are the members of the Gwangan crew. Just when Yosak is frozen in confusion, a solid chest collides with him. A red-haired guy smirks at Yosak, claiming he came searching for Kim Wooju but is pleasantly surprised to see him instead. With that, he kicks Yoshik down. Then he starts mercilessly stomping on the fallen Yosak. "Since you wanted to leave the crew, you ought to have just left in peace. How dare you set the office ablaze?" At this moment, I burst in lugging Kim Wooju and seize the red-haired guy's arm, saying, "Aren't we all special public servants? Why are you guys fighting each other?" The red-haired man shoots me a furious glare, demanding to know who I am. I reply that I'm just like Yosak, a member of the Manhwa Island crew, but the red-haired man lets out a laugh. Before I can react, he punches me square in the face, sending both Kim Wooju and me flying back several meters. Afterward, he wipes his arm clean. Pathetic. You really dare to mention that place filled with weaklings. Music. Then he kicks Yosak again, and seeing you pathetic wretches, I can't help but want to smash your faces in. Then he straddles Yosak, beating his face mercilessly. Punch music after punch, because Yosak had reported them to the headquarters. The team faced months of consequences. He's been hunting Yosak to get his revenge. The Gwangan members, music instead of intervening, merely watch with smirks plastered on their faces. Right now, I'm boiling with rage. Yellow sand music starts leaking from my mouth without me realizing it. Just then, the shop door swings open suddenly. Before the red-haired punk can comprehend what's happening, music, a size 43 shoe slams into his face. He hits the ground hard. All the Gwangan members jump up simultaneously, questioning who that was. Eden walks in, looking completely unfazed, claiming he's a member of that pitifully weak Manhwa Island music crew they spoke of. He then rushes over to me and warns that if I even think about spitting yellow sand here, I'm toast. That's when I notice I'm unconsciously generating yellow sand. Quickly, I cover my mouth and ask Eden how he shows up here. Turns out Eden was worried I'd stir up trouble and has been tailing me since clocking out for work. Music, but he's not the only one watching me. Kang Chana is also in tow. Chana steps into the shop and is taken aback initially. She promptly approaches to check on Yosak's status, eyeing the battered Yosak. Glaring furiously at the Gwangan team members, she is clueless about why they laid a beatdown on her teammate. She knows she must get Yosak out of here now. But the clown woman yanks up the red-haired man's arm, saying, "Not a chance. They can't just let us walk away after their guys beat their teammate within an inch of his life." Meanwhile, the bespectacled guy mentions that as Yosak's former colleagues, they have some loose ends to tie up. Music Chana questions them, "Is everyone here a special public servant? Do they really have to stir up trouble and face the consequences?" But the quirky clown lady argues she believes we're the ones who are in for punishment, and just as they're both bickering endlessly, the battered red-haired guy gets back on his feet. The first thing he does is charge at Eden. Eden smirks wickedly. Clearly, this works out for him. He lunges in as well, but although it's set to be a fair duel, the glasses guy insists on jumping in. I don't want to watch Eden deal with two foes. Just as I'm ready to jump into the fray, Manager Kang stops me from behind, warning that it'll cause issues if I transform. She scans the store and spots a useful weapon in the corner. At this moment, Eden, battling music two adversaries, finds himself outmatched. The glasses-wearing guy has both of Eden's hands pinned from behind. Meanwhile, the red-haired brute in front raises a chair, ready to smash Eden's skull. Suddenly, music and attack lands on his waist first. Channa swings a broom in her hands like a pro, then clobbers the glasses man's leg, making him writhe in agony on the ground. The red-haired thug attempts to rise and retaliate, but Channa points the broken broom at him, freezing him in his tracks. If you don't want to keep getting wrecked, back off. Then, out of nowhere, a dozy, middle-aged man strolls into the shop, claiming he just returned from the restroom. How did they end up fighting non-combatants? Channa inquires about his identity. He introduces himself as the leader of the Gwangan Yellow Sand Response Team from the Environmental Department. Channa thinks a sensible person has finally shown up, so she music informs the Gwangan team leader that his crew hurt our Gangwa Island members, which sparked the brawl, and she hopes he can sort this mess out properly. But before music Channa can wrap up, the man's fist crashes into her face. Since you're not ordinary folks, don't mess with my team. Witnessing Manager Kang go down from the brutal blow ignites a fire in my heart, and yellow sand unconsciously starts trickling from my mouth again. Eden, seeing this, tries to intervene, but I charge forward and stand right in front of the Gwangan team leader. Before he registers what's happening, my fist already collides with his face. The punch, charged with yellow sand power, sends him flying a few meters before smashing into a wall and coming to a halt. Observing the yellow sand fill the room, Gwangan team members are collectively stunned. Eden clutches his forehead, internally screaming, "This is trouble." I stride over to Channa and check if she's alright. She reproaches me, saying, "Wasn't I supposed to avoid using yellow sand?" I apologize, saying, "Seeing you get hurt made me furious," and I instinctively released yellow sand. At this moment, the badly beaten Gwangan team leader bursts into laughter. He declares, "I'm clearly not a monster, yet I can produce yellow sand." He asks who I am and wants to recruit me for their team, but I remember Yosak's words at the bar. I refuse outright. What a laugh. I have no desire to join such a scummy crew. Hearing this, music. The Gwangan team leader flashes a sinister grin, saying, "That's unfortunate. I can't just let you off today. And right now, there's tons of yellow sand here." He's itching for a showdown between Gwangan and Gangwa Island teams, a face-off for those with abilities. Upon hearing this, our jaws drop in disbelief. Seriously, these Gwangan folks are utterly insane. Yet, the man stays cool as a cucumber, perched on a bench munching on seaweed, calling everyone to line up and get ready. Channa steps up, waving her hand in protest, saying, "This is just too ridiculous." But the man totally brushes her off, brandishing one finger and laying down the rules. Each team will face off in a total of 3 one-on-one battles. The winning team gets to take Yosuke away. Then, he casts a glance at the trembling Yosuke on the ground, saying, "If we win, he can forget the damage Yosia did. Erase it music from existence and leave him alone forever." He then looks at me, saying, "And that scary dude over there? If headquarters learns about your yellow sand skill, they won't go easy on you." With that, he gestures for silence, saying, "If I step in to fight, he'll keep mum about my yellow sand powers." Channa is left speechless, realizing this Gwangan music squad is just plain weird. Even their leader is totally unreasonable. Eden pipes up, suggesting we should just take out their leader first, but Cha quickly shoots that down. If we do, his team would retaliate, making everything worse. The opposing Gwangan team is already raring for a fight, especially that previously defeated red-haired guy. The leader states, "Just think of it as a friendly competition between teams. Whoever gives up first loses." With that, his demeanor shifts to intense. But the rule is to avoid killing. We're completely, music baffled. Is this a joke? Killing? We never even considered that. With that thought, Eden excitedly removes his hat. As he puts on gloves, he declares, "Since that's the deal, let's throw down." He's been dying to take on ability users. I quickly shield Eden, asking if he's lost his mind. Does he want to end up like those guys? But in the next moment, Channa's shocking words echo in my ears. She presses her thumb to her chin and states, "Let's fight." As Eden mentioned, she expects us to prolong the matches as much as we can. Eden and I exchange bewildered glances, music questioning her reasoning. Annoyed, Channa retorts, "You'll understand once you're in the fight. Who's stepping up first?" Eden loosens up, already fired up, saying, "Let him take the lead. He can't hold back." On the opposing side, the leader calls out to his teammates, asking who's willing to go. At that moment, the glasses-wearing guy removes his shades. Veins pulse slightly in his right eye as he activates his ability. He can analyze opponents' powers through his gaze. In no time, the glasses-wearing guy completes his music assessment. He announces, "Eden on our side possesses the breaking monster ability, inflicting damage by breaking his own body." The red-haired guy chimes in, "Let him go then. After all, he has beef with Eden from before this match and can't wait to beat him up." With that, he tightens his fist, charging up. Suddenly, his arm morphs into a flurry of sharp branch spikes. hurtling violently toward Eden. But Eden stands unfazed by the onslaught. Calmly, he simply snaps his fingers, and those branch spikes come crashing down. Then he casually brushes his hair back with his hand. He simply snaps his fingers lightly. The branch spikes trying to assault him shatter. Then he nonchalantly brushes his hair back with his hand. Just taunting? That's what he thinks. Yet the red-haired man grins at this moment, his fist tightening once more. The branches that were recently shattered begin to coil around Eden's body. It appears the red-haired man's powers extend beyond just controlling living branches. He also wields control over splintered branches at his command. In a flash, Eden is ensnared like a mummy. The red-haired man jeers. If he can't even twitch a finger, how's he going to unleash his powers? Is he going to back down like a coward? But Eden retorts, labeling him as filth, declaring, of course, there's still one thing he can break. As soon as the words escape his lips, a loud crack resonates in the air. In an instant, the branches ensnaring Eden burst apart. Seizing the moment as his opponent dodges, he catches him by the throat. With a blank expression, he announces that he'll commence by snapping his fifth vertebra. As he crushes a finger, the opponent's fifth vertebra shatters immediately. The red-haired man's lower body loses control, on the brink of collapse, but Eden forcefully hoists him up by the neck, stating, "Don't black out yet, the real show is just starting. Now for the main act. Is your neck prepared?" But just as Eden readies to snap another finger and activate his powers, Kong Chana interrupts, placing her hand on him. "Stop this now. Do you intend to kill someone here?" She declares to the Guangzhan team leader that they've claimed victory in the first match. Only then does Eden release the quaking red-haired man. The excruciating pain leaves the red-haired man crawling on the ground, retching continuously. After heave, he glances at his team leader and recoils. The Uncle Music watches the red-haired man on the floor with icy eyes, rubbing his chin thoughtfully, before stating, "All right, let's keep going." Kang Chana ties her hair up while commenting, Eden's assault was too ruthless, it wasted little time. Eden pats his arm, saying he did all he could, music to delay. Now ready to fight. Kang Chana gestures with her finger, inquiring who's up next. The bespectacled man, using his ability to analyze, notes, Kang Chana can form iron from blood. She's a metal ability user. The only one who can face her is the clown woman. Her ability is a flawless counter. With that, the clown woman reaches inside her clothing. 2 ribs are yanked from her body in a gruesome display. She's a Rakshasa bone blade user, wielding all the bones in her body as weapons. Kong Chana warns her against using Blade's music as it's quite perilous, but the clown woman disregards her, transforming her spine into lethal blades. Her entire form resembles a menacing spider, using bone blades for support. Confidently, she leaps forward in a single bound. Observing this, Kang Chana swiftly bites into her wrist. Just before the attack reaches her, she channels her blood into a blade, blocking just in time. The clash of blades generates a shrill sound, yet the clown woman possesses another bone blade concealed behind her. In the standoff, she plunges directly into Kang Chana's waist. Feeling the sting, Kang Chana realizes this can't go on, so she swings with all her might, sending her opponent crashing backward. Then, she charges in relentlessly. While the clown woman is airborne and unable to evade, Kong Chana maneuvers past the bone blade strikes. At close quarters, she seizes the moment music and slashes across her opponent's entire chest. This strike takes the clown woman entirely out of the fight. She can barely stand, even with 2 team members propping her up. After that, Kang Chana awkwardly checks on her, apologizing for not managing her strength properly. This prompts Eden and me to sing her praises endlessly. She wrapped up the fight in a mere 10 seconds. Eden even jokes that she's exceptional at buying time. Kang Chana blushes and clarifies that it's because she's never faced off against humans before. This was a habit formed from combating monsters. The man who just witnessed 2 defeats starts to sweat nervously. Music. Wasn't the Gangwa Island team supposed to be filled with weaklings? What in the world is happening here? But their team leader claps his hands, acting as though it's none of his concern, stating, "All right, now what's left is his match against me." Kang Chana replies, "It's already 2-0. No need to keep going," the uncle says, tilting his head. "Music. That just won't fly. He sat through 2 dull matches just to gauge my abilities." He holds up 3 fingers and declares, "Since it's the main event, let's music make it a 3-pointer. Kang Chana looks ready to refuse, but I step in at that moment, asserting, "Fine by me." I point at the sleazy uncle, yelling that the condition is I fight you. Instantly, the shock hits all 3, but the uncle grins, taking advantage of the moment, as the glasses-wearing guy powers up again, trying to sneak a peek into my abilities. But once he sees the monster within, fear grips him. He clutches his eyelids, and then boom, his right eye bursts. Terror etches across his face, music, sweat uncontrollably streaming down. Is that guy even a human being? What in the world is he? The uncle dismissively motions with his finger, taunting that he could, music, unleash their best fighter against me. That fighter is none other than Kim Wooju, who had been drinking earlier. A team member drags him over, still disoriented. Confused by music, their presence, and terrified, he asks where his parents are. The sleazy uncle leans in music, whispering, his parents have already left work. No need for him to worry. He then shoves Kim Wooju forward, demanding, Let me music take on their strongest member, Kim Wooju. Namyo Suk tries to intervene, urging his former team leader to stop, but awakening a bully's conscience. Impossible. The uncle glares icily, silencing him. Their business isn't done yet. After the fight, he'll sort things out with Namyo Suk. With a menacing tone, he tells Kim Wooju to give it his all. Maybe then his transfer request will be approved. Under the uncle's pressure, Kim Wooju reluctantly steps up, but as he approaches me, shock fills my eyes. My language monster ability activates instinctively. Kim Wooju hesitantly moves closer, but as he gets near, my eyes widen in disbelief. Because right now, my mouth erupts with words that cut right to Kim Wooju's core, attacking everything from his looks to his journey and vulnerabilities. Simultaneously, snapshots of Kim Wooju's past flood my mind, revealing his deep-seated memory of being music bullied by Namyo Suk. Realizing I'm about to unleash my words and the blade within me is ready to strike, I realize I'm on the verge of rambling without control, and the blade in my mouth is about to reveal itself. I swiftly press my hand over my mouth, desperate to prevent this chaos. But the sharp tongue blade music slices through my palm with no mercy. At the same moment, my mouth opens fire, questioning if Namyo Suk felt any joy when he was bullied in his own space. As a witness, did he feel relief while it wasn't him getting hurt? Hearing this, Kim Wooju's music heartquakes. These biting words dig deep into his soul, fulfilling the requirements for a heart wound. Sensing something's off, I desperately try to halt the tongue blade from releasing, but I falter. The tongue blade bursts forth uncontrollably, piercing through his chest. I quickly crouch down to check on him, asking if he's alright, saying, "I music can't manage my power." Yet Kim Wooju, eyes tightly shut, keeps shedding tears as he murmurs, "I'm sorry." Then, music to my shock, he triggers his own ability. A stream of lethal poisonous pus erupts from his body. This is his deadly poison skill. At point-blank range, I can't evade it. My whole body gets drenched and eroded by the venomous fluid over a vast area. Eden and Kang Channa sense the danger and rush forward, but the sleazy uncle blocks their path, warning them not to interfere. The match is still ongoing. With that, the uncle strokes his chin and approaches me slowly. He inquires if I'm ready to throw in the towel now. The poison will eat away at my insides. I lift my battered face, music flesh exposed, declaring, "What a farce. I never said I'd give up." The uncle responds, "Then quit wasting time. Show me your ability till you're exhausted." And pointing music at Kim Wooju sprawled on the ground, he states, "If I want to claim victory, I must strike him. Only then will this game conclude." I push myself up, asserting, "I don't care about any rules." Then I abruptly stand tall, fist clenched, and roar, "What rules? Defeating you ends the game just the same." But as I charge forward, the uncle remains utterly unfazed, stating, "Once this game starts, it must adhere to his rules." With that, he yanks his tie tightly, unleashing his monster ability. Instantly, a force starts hammering against my body, forcing me to crash onto the ground with a loud thud. Simultaneously, all ability users in the room are pinned down, rendered unable to lift themselves off the ground. Eden struggles to rise, asking, "What's music going on? What is this force crushing me?" Nearby, Namyo Suk is lying on the ground, gasping for air. He tells Eden and the others that this belongs to the Gwangan team leader's ability. Everyone must remain flat and breathe lightly. Music. And this sleazy uncle is a level 9 gravity monster ability user. Watching everyone kneeling before him, he can't music help but admire the scene. It brings him an odd sense of comfort. He strides back in front of me again, examining my face as it gradually heals. His curiosity piqued, he questions what my body is composed of. My recovery pace seems to rival the corrosive force of the acid. He decides to music test what happens when he specifically increases gravity on me. With that, he tightens his tie even more around his neck. My back and bones crack under the strain. A spray of fresh blood mixed with yellow music sand bursts from my mouth. The uncle finds this fascinating, rubbing the newly expelled yellow sand through his fingers. He says, "The more agony, my back creaks and my bones crack." A torrent of fresh blood mingled with yellow music sand sprays from my mouth. The uncle finds this amusing, rubbing the yellow sand off his hands, saying, "The more pain, the yellow sand grows denser." It's clear that the creature who gave me this power is something truly extraordinary. Right then, tears stream down my face from the agony. But when I hear him, music, say extraordinary, my expression momentarily hardens. Reflecting on this, the creature in my memories truly was one of a kind. Despite being a monster, its eyes held a depth that others of its kind lacked. But right music now, I realize I can't afford to dwell on that. Action is needed immediately. To bring this guy down, I must leverage the language monster ability. However, when I activate it, an unexpected twist occurs. The music language monster doesn't utter a word or make a verbal strike. Its mouth remains firmly sealed, as if it's clueless about the opponent's weakness. This realization crushes my spirit. Could it be this guy is entirely resistant to heart wounds? Just as I ponder that, it hits me that such a maniac is actually an ability wielder. The uncle pulls out a small knife from his pocket. He then points it at me, declaring how he detests ignorance. He intends to dissect my essence to see the source of the yellow sand. He presses the knife against my throat, inquiring if he should cut open my lungs first or just slice my neck. Suddenly, the knife against my throat snaps in two. It's Eden triggering his breakability at this crucial moment, shouting, "Music, this is our chance." Simultaneously, Kong-Chana bites into her wrist, activating her ability. As soon as the blood-forged blade materializes, she leaps toward the sleazy uncle, despite her body shaking in fear. However, right as Kong Music-Chana nears him, the sleazy uncle instantly senses her approach and tightens his tie around his neck once more. The gravity in this space skyrockets to 20 times. This surprise attack results in utter failure. The uncle, his face turning music crimson, strides toward Kong-Chana, stating, "With increased gravity, our brains get less oxygen until we completely lose consciousness." I can't help but shout Kong-Chana's name in panic, fearing the uncle might harm her. But unexpectedly, he simply takes the blood blade from her grip. He then rises, looking at me with disdain, fuming. Now, there's no one to interfere. Let's pick up where we left off in our dissection game. While I'm being crushed by this gravity, barely able to breathe, I wonder, what's my next move? Just then, a knock rattles the door. The uncle turns sharply, asking who dares to disturb at this hour. While clutching the blood-forged blade tightly, he yells that the shop is closed, yet the figure, music outside, refuses to leave. Instead, a thick black liquid begins oozing through the crack in the door. In music, a heartbeat, it envelops Kong, Chana, and the others. Eden gazes at the inky substance, a cold sweat cascading down his face, music wondering, what the hell is this? He attempts to break free, but the gravity holds him down. Yet when Kong Chana catches sight of the dark liquid, relief washes over her and she says in a shaky voice, "Finally, you're here. What took you so long?" It turns out that while Eden was battling two ability users alone, Kong Chana had helped Namio with the absorption. And upon witnessing the chaos in the noodle shop, she sensed that the situation was bound to turn disastrous if it persisted. So, she used Namio Sak's body as his shield and dispatched a distress signal to their leader, Kiakman. Right now, Kodakman stands poised outside the shop door, infusing his power through the yellow sand trickling from the crack. A thick, dark liquid spills continually from his eye sockets. This ability is that of a level 10 user, the Darkness Monster skill. By extracting his eyeballs, the shadowy energy pulsates through his empty eye sockets. In this moment, as I'm about to drown in the black liquid, dread overwhelms my face, pondering the origins of this sudden engulfing darkness. The sleazy uncle finds himself ensnared by this murky, sticky substance. Within a blink, it consumes the entire inside of the shop, yet the uncle remains unnervingly collected. He instantly identifies the usage of a darkness ability, but mutters silent curses in his mind. Anyone caught in this dark power becomes completely numb to all six senses. Losing sound and scent, they feel nothing, as if they don't exist at all. And I'm caught in this terrifying experience myself. This feeling of non-existence creates deep anguish within me. I desperately fumble at my face with my hands, struggling to free my mind from this turmoil. But every solid thing feels like pure emptiness, with my senses shut off. This sensation, worse than death, intensifies the yellow sand spilling from my mouth. The uncle, in stark contrast, maintains a tranquil demeanor. After all, he's a man whose vulnerabilities evade even the language monster's ability. Suddenly, a pair of enormous hands loom behind him. In a heartbeat, Kodakman seizes him by the throat, snatching his blade. Yet, the uncle is oblivious to it all. He can't even feel his own breaths. In that fleeting moment, his consciousness falters, and he loses consciousness. Once team leader Coachman wraps up with the uncle, his eyes shift toward me. At this point, I tremble in fear. My heart desperately yearns for rescue, making me unconsciously bite my hand hard. Kodakman approaches me from behind, stating, "That's enough." He then grips my neck forcefully until I completely black out. No further yellow sand spills from my mouth. After tying up loose ends, Kodakman reaches into his shirt pocket. He retrieves two eyeballs and forcefully repositions them into his eye sockets. As his vision returns, the surrounding dark energy gradually recedes. Within moments, all traces of the darkness vanish completely. This also indicates that this chaotic episode has finally come to a close. Kodakman gazes at my unconscious form on the floor, feeling an inner sense of relief. The yellow sand is finally cleared. Kong-Chana wobbles to her feet and remarks, "You finally arrived." Kekman, applying eye drops, chastises Kong-Chana and Eden for not informing him about my yellow sand spitting abilities. He shoots them a fierce glare, questioning whether they wish to keep their jobs. Faced with this, Kang-Chana bows her head, acknowledging her error. Then she implores Kodakman to confer with the Guangan team leader to address this issue. But Kodakman insists that the situation has escalated too far. There's no simple way out now. Afterward, I'm taken back to headquarters and placed in custody. I'm under stringent watch around the clock without a break. I hang my head in despair, uncertain of what fate awaits me. Meanwhile, the conference room buzzes with discussions on how to approach my situation. Ryu Yunjine suggests they put me under the main department's care from now on, but Kodakman sharply refuses. Upon hearing this, Ryuan jumps up in anger, yelling that I spit yellow sand like a monster, challenging Kodakman about the risks I pose. Does he really think that's okay? Just look at the mess with the Gwangan team this time. What will happen next time I use my abilities around regular folks? But Kodakman stays completely composed after hearing this, stating, this incident was an accident triggered by the Gwangan team's provocation. He trusts my integrity. Such things won't repeat. With that, he turns his fire on Director Jinglu, proclaiming he ought to realize that the Gwangan team leader intentionally recruits people of terrible morals as teammates, allowing a lunatic to lead the team. Isn't that the director's fault? After hearing this, Junglu merely rests his chin on his hand, seeming utterly unfazed. Instead, Ryuan lashes out at him, stating, how can Kukman address the director like this in front of the staff? Jung Il-du waves dismissively, asserting, it's alright. He thinks the character of public servants isn't that significant. Whether the Guangzan team leader is a lunatic doesn't matter as long as he's essential in the fight against monsters. Upon hearing this, Kang Chan's face goes cold. She's about to rebut, but Zhang Yildu presses on, saying, they're not like Kodakman, who loathes combat and hides out on Ganghwa Island like a coward. After absorbing this, Kodakman doesn't pursue the topic the director tossed his way. Instead, he uses the logic of his words, stating that I'm also vital in monster battles, and my character is fine. Then, he glances at Eden and Kang China, mentioning, besides, these two can keep me in check better. Their connection is stronger than gold. This sudden revelation startles both of them. Zhang Yilu then asks if he causes trouble. Can you handle the consequences? Kodakman rises, declaring, no worries, I'll shoulder the blame. If there's nothing else, we'll head out. But as the trio gets ready to exit and reaches the door, Zhang Yilu halts Eden, stating there are matters to discuss. Although Eden is reluctant, he has no choice but to comply. Following this, due to team leader Ko Digman's shield, I'm also freed. I rush up, inquiring what's happening. I don't need to bear the blame. And team leader, what's up with that flashy tie? Ko Dietman pulls at his tie after hearing this, replying, the penalty is that you three will have 3 months' salary docked. The instant I hear this, I'm completely frozen inside. The shock hits me as hard as the sight of the team leader's tie. Then the team leader adds, I should feel thankful. The only reason I made it through this intact is because the Ganghwa Island team agreed to take the blame. But if I stir up trouble again, they won't be able to cover for me. With that, he thinks to himself, Director Jing Ilu is far scarier than I thought. Perhaps, in the future, he'll turn into our adversary. Meanwhile, in the conference room, the director questions Eden. If that kid goes wild again, can he be held accountable for terminating him? Eden is taken aback by this. Then he spins his head. Meanwhile, in the conference room, the director questions Eden. If that kid goes wild again, can music? He be held accountable for terminating him? Eden is taken aback by this. Then he spins his head, keeping his cool, retorts, seriously, what are you even saying? He then stands up, making it clear he's not interested in this nonsense. He adds that after 2 decades of knowing each other, if this is all there is, he's out of here. But Director Zhang just stares at him, his face going grim as he commands him to sit down, stating, this isn't a dad's request, it's an order from the director. He can't be seen as just another ability user anymore. Someone who can create yellow sand from thin air is basically a beast. After being safeguarded by the Genhua Island crew and released, I'm also stuck living in their neighborhood. But as soon as I step inside, I am disgusted by the chaos I encounter. Clothes are thrown around haphazardly, and the kitchen is a vile sight that hasn't been scrubbed in forever. Where's the essence of a home here? Even during my exam prep days, it was never this chaotic. Just then, Kodakman stumbles out, shirtless and looking like a wreck. He scratches his shoulder and declares, from today on, I'm crashing here with him. Looking at the scene, an intense wave of anxiety hits me, wondering, does it seriously have to be like this? Kodakman nonchalantly yawns and says, if they want to keep me out of trouble, this is the way it's gotta be. Then, he slaps a hand on my shoulder, telling me we'll ride together from now on. And after work, I'm stuck with him 24/7, no escape. Watching his hand on my shoulder, I mentally groan, this world has truly gone insane. Arriving at work the next day, I immediately feel the fury radiating from Supervisor Yoon Ji-won, who glares at me. Unable to withstand the pressure, I cautiously ask if she has something to say to me. Yoon Ji-won points at her eyes with 2 fingers and then points at me, saying, if I catch you spitting yellow sand in here, it's over. Namo, who is nearby and eager to stir things up, tells Yoonji to chill. What if I lose it and start spitting yellow sand? As soon as I hear that, I whirl my chair around, totally taken aback, thinking, I'm like this because of you. I can't articulate my feelings, so I just let out a helpless sigh. But that subtle action catches Kim Yubok's attention as he walks by. He suddenly asks if I just sighed, and I almost jump out of my skin at his sudden appearance behind me. Upon hearing my sigh, team leader Kodakman darts over, anxiously covering my mouth with one hand. He then starts fumbling around, peering into my mouth, asking if the stress is too much. I won't spit yellow sand just from sighing, right? I quickly assure him that shouldn't happen. Afterwards, I storm off to the bathroom, fuming, thinking about how these folks are just viewing me as a monster. Am I not even allowed to breathe freely here anymore? Just as I get to the bathroom door, I bump into Eden. He looks at me, recalling what the director, his father, said. I can no longer be seen as just another ability user. Someone who can make yellow sand by themselves isn't any less than a monster. Maybe someday, I'll be viewed as the enemy by all ability users. Seeing Eden glaring at me intensely makes me furious. I shout at him, asking what he's staring at. Does he want to lecture me about causing chaos too? Eden, with a cold demeanor, responds, "Why would I bother saying that? What you choose to become is none of my business." His abnormal behavior leaves me utterly perplexed. This guy, doesn't he usually look like he wants to devour me? What's up with him today? Just then, a voice behind me cuts in. Are you okay? I spin around, furious, music thinking. Don't these people know when to back off? But when I turn, it's Kang, Chana, and Kim Woo, the new transfer students. Kang Chana reveals that this is his first day with the Gangwa Island crew. He says he can ask Music any questions. Kim Woo bows and quickly expresses his thanks to her. Then Kang Chana leans in close, saying, "Let her check my eyes." I drop my Music head, face burning, saying, "Does she want to check my eye color? I haven't spat yellow sand, so there's no need for her to fret." Music. Kang Chana softly reassures me not to take the team members' behaviors to heart. They're just scared that if any more issues pop up, the Gangwa Island team won't be able to keep me safe. Her words bring me a bit of solace. But when everyone's off on their missions, I feel dull and empty because they're afraid I'll stir up trouble again. All I can do now is paperwork. This is painfully boring. I glance at the fresh documents from the printer and drift into thought. So what team leader Code Man meant by taking responsibility is that he absolutely won't let me out in the field. Just then, the door creaks open, interrupting my thoughts. Wangle and Jong-un, those two brothers, stride in with a fierce attitude. Seeing their arrival, I ask who they are. Then I notice Jong-un lunging forward, fist raised, rushing at me with intensity. Before I can react, his fist smashes into my face. The brutal music. Impact knocks me flat. Jung-un hauls me up from the ground, dazed, insisting I spit out yellow sand so he can see. Looking at the stranger who just attacked me makes me furious, but recalling Kang Chana's earlier advice, my anger fizzles out. I tell myself, I cannot stir up trouble again. But Jung-un has my collar in his grip, ready to raise his fist again, demanding to know what I'm doing. Change fast or he'll wreck my face. But before he can act, he gets kicked back. The one who struck is his brother, Wangil. Music. Wangil helps me up by the hand and apologizes, saying his brother is clueless while introducing themselves as Wangil and Jong-un from the headquarters. I dab at my nosebleed, asking if they were sent by headquarters to test me. Wangil confirms the truth, but his brother rushed to meet me because he's my fan. Looking at these two, they truly seem like monster twins. Afterwards, Jung-un eagerly extends his hand, saying, "I've heard a lot about you." In that moment, my face turns red, raising both hands with an innocent look. Jung steps forward, feeling around my body, noting I can indeed spit yellow sand. I seem even more impressive than director Jong Ailu. I ask uncertainly if he's really talking about me. After hearing this, Jong-un gives me a solid thumbs up, declaring that he thinks I'm the best of all ability users. He genuinely admires me. Hearing such long-awaited praise from someone else leaves me stunned. Even after work, I'm still in disbelief. Am I really as incredible as Jong-un says? At this moment, I catch a glimpse of Kim Woo looking flustered. I step forward and ask, "Music, what's going on? Why hasn't he headed home yet?" After spotting me, Kim Woo looks startled at first, then admits something happened. He hopes I can come help him in his area. It turns out the detector and emergency communication device in his area are on the fritz, but even after I tinker with them, there's still no response. Behind me, Kim Woo stumbles over his words, apologizing that he might have accidentally broken it earlier. Not wanting to be disliked here, he kept quiet. After hearing this, I flash him a smile and tell him that at the Gangwa Island team, no one will criticize him for making mistakes. Everyone is super friendly. Music. But then I suddenly remember something that makes my face turn serious. Based on my own experience, it's actually hard for me to say that. Kim Woo thanks me, mentioning he hasn't had the chance to show gratitude for last time. I awkwardly scratch my head and say it's nothing, but he just keeps asking if I can freely spit yellow sand like that in front of him. At first, I don't respond, like, what yellow sand? But when I finally grasp what he means, my face reflects shock. Kim Woo assumed the yellow sand I spit out was real. So, what's with the yellow sand scattered around us? Realizing something's up, I spin around to check the situation. Sure enough, in the grove, I spot a small monster, with 9 crimson beads gleaming on its chest. Kim Woo ducks behind me, starting to blame himself again, saying it's his fault we can't send out an alarm now. I reassure him that it's okay while glancing at the yellow sand density. It's probably just a level 1 monster. Taking it out should be a cinch. At the same time, I think back to how I just received praise earlier, so I push off with force, opening my mouth wide and lunging at that monster. Before it can react, I clamp down on its neck. With a jolt, I pull my body back. Instantaneously, blood splatters everywhere. Even though it's only a level 1 monster, if I want to take it down quickly, this is the way to go. After witnessing this scene, Kim Woo cheers, amazed that I took it out in one move. Glancing at the monster's lifeless body on the ground, I can't feel any joy because just then, the yellow sand hasn't vanished. It has actually ramped up to a higher level. Music. The corpse of the monster starts to crack, and what follows sends a chill through me. From that level 1 monster's carcass, another creature emerges, and one of the crimson beads on its chest has popped. This monster didn't die at all. Instead, it has transformed into a level 2 beast.